All right. Let me grab my hat and let's get started. I got my coffee here. I got my AC a blasting, as they say. And we have just the perfect upload, which is stealth camping, the most disturbing moments in stealth camping. So if you guys don't know, stealth camping is when YouTubers go to like parking lots or just basically any place that you would not typically expect someone to camp. And they try to do it like in their car or otherwise. And apparently there's a compilation of disturbing moments related to this. So, it's perfect. So let's definitely watch that. We gotta check that out. You already know! Okay. Alright, so apparently the like terminally online WrestleMania is going on right now. And what I mean by that is there's a bunch of VTubers that are like at war with each other. Like basically all this got kicked off because all this controversy, whatever you want to call it, got kicked off because a VTube artist made a post saying, hey, I need to talk about this because it's affecting me personally, you know, this, that, and the other, that sort of thing. And that's how it started. So they posted this big long, what's up, Dr. Red? So they posted this big long, I'm talking about this like VTuber drama that's apparently going on right now that I learned about. It was just everywhere, okay? I couldn't avoid it. It was everywhere in my sub feed. I couldn't go anywhere without seeing it. So basically, this all started because a VTubing artist, as in someone who draws in that program called Live 2D or whatever, came out and pretty much said, like, I have to talk about this because this is something that's been affecting me personally in my life and all these different things, okay? So they talked about this VTuber named Cinder. And Cinder is a VTuber who, like, she kind of got her start recently, as in like just a couple of years ago. But basically what the Google Doc went over was that Cinder was basically snaking a bunch of other VTubers that she alleged to be friends with, and was trying to get this artist to do like an exclusivity deal with her, where she basically would get really pissed off and upset if the artist, who was a really talented artist, would work with other VTubers. And so she would reach out and be like, why did you do work for them? I thought we had a deal. You know, just really shady, really conniving things. And and what's most fucked up is that a lot of the VTubers who this person claimed to be friends with have now come out and were like, holy shit, I had no idea she felt that way about me. Like, it's like, I swear, it's like the VTuber WrestleMania, dude. Like, all these VTubers are pissed off at this one who was like being a huge snake, and it's a whole fucking thing. So, and then the girl herself, Cinder, posted an apology yesterday, and the apology is no fucking joke. I'll pull it up right now. The apology is like 7 paragraphs long. It is the most absurdly long, overly written apology I've ever seen in my life. All right, so here's what it looks like. This is one singular apology, by the way. Holy shit. What the fuck, man? And I just love this part. Here we go. To Nano, to Bow, to Sack, to Cotton and Lily, to Silver, to Spite, to Peaches, to Rain. Oh my god, so many fucking apologies, dude. There's like 9 people that this person has wronged. Jesus, man. I think, like, if you get yourself into a point where you have to apologize to 9 individuals, you should probably log off for a while and take a decent break, you know? You're probably not, like, equipped to be on the internet like that if you have to create a Google Doc that's like 12 paragraphs long and you have to apologize to 9 individual people. Something ain't right, you know? Something is not going correctly here. It can't be, you know? I can show the VTuber drama people something amazing. It's green, it grows, it smells good. Grass. For real. Oh, Captain Crunch is a goated cereal, man. The only sugar I really can have right now is protein shakes. I gotta get off the sugar entirely. I'm built right now. Like, I've been in the gym a lot. And my arms, like, you can see my arms are smaller, but they're also look at that. Just look at that forearm muscle, dude. Like, holy shit. Like, my arms are getting fucking built. My chest is getting built really well. My shoulders, traps, everything else. But, I just gotta lose the fat. So I'm thinking about doing, like, a 7-day water fast and just losing a ton of the fat off the top, and I think that would help. Just my mobility and everything. But, yeah, I've been in the gym fucking hitting it hard here lately. Harder than I've ever hit the gym before. Every time I go, I basically go until I have 0 energy left and I can barely move. And I can barely walk my ass back to the car in the parking lot to make it home. That's how bad it is. But it's got to be done, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. And, you know, last stream, everybody was like, whoa, dude, you look skinnier. Like, your face looks skinnier. And I was like, well, I don't necessarily see it, but I appreciate that. I think it's different for you guys because you see me nowadays like every 4 or 5 days. But where I don't notice a change over time, you guys actually do. Because you see me like twice a week. So, seriously, man, like, I ain't getting any younger. I'm 30 now, so the time to fucking kick my ass into high gear and get my health in check is now. You know what I mean? So, yeah, once the diet comes together, I'm going to be in good shape. Keep the gym up. Because here's the thing. The gym should not be used as, like, an excuse to eat whatever you want. The gym should be maintenance to ensure that you're always in a calorie deficit. And I know people always like to say it's so corny to, like, count your calories and weigh your food. And it is. It's pretty fucking corny. I'm not going to lie. but it helps, you know. So I'm actually probably gonna buy a food scale and start. There's this app. I don't know if you know who Sam Sulek is. He's like a really memed on like bodybuilder. There's been a couple like comedy meme animations made about him. But he's a bodybuilder and he pushes more than anything. Corny is better than donity. True. He's like a really popular fitness YouTuber. And one thing that he pushes above all else is tracking your calories and tracking what are called your macros. Your macros are basically anytime you turn around a piece of food or packaged food and you see the nutrition facts, that's what it is. So you need to count the grams of fat, grams of carbohydrates, grams of protein, grams of sugar, whatever it is. Fiber, dietary fiber, insoluble, soluble fiber, any of that stuff. So he's really, really big on tracking all of that stuff, because if you know exactly where you're at, how can you ever overeat, you know? And he made a really good point on one of his videos recently about eating, where he was like, I just treat the food like money. You know, I wake up and I've got, you know, $2,200 in air quotes to spend, and that's my calories. And when I hit 2,200, there's no more money, so I can't eat any more food. And mine is actually a little bit lower than that. There's this thing you can do called TDEE, and what that stands for is Total Daily Energy Expenditure. And you can go to a website and you can calculate this, and what this is going to calculate for you is essentially what your body burns. If I were to sit in this chair for 12 hours straight and then go to bed, like no movement, no exercise whatsoever, how many calories would my body burn just doing nothing? And whatever that number is, you have to remove about 300 or 400 calories, and that's how much you can eat every day. So say, for example, because this is mine, I just did this a couple days ago. If I sit here and do absolutely nothing, my body burns like 2,100 calories. So my daily calorie intake should be between 1,800 to 1,900, realistically. So if I do that, that means I'm always in a calorie deficit and I'm always losing weight. But then you got to factor in the fact that I can go to the gym and burn an extra 200-300 calories on the treadmill. Then that fucking guarantees that I'm always in that deficit. You know what I mean? Welcome back, Dr. Red. I was talking about, there's this thing you can do called a TDEE calculator. And what that means is total daily energy expenditure. It's basically, it's called your maintenance calories. Like how many calories does your body burn if you don't do anything in a day? So mine, I just did it, is about 2,100. With my height, my weight, everything, I burn about 2,100 calories a day if I do zero exercise, okay? So if I eat, say, 1,800 calories. Hey, what's up, Dude Core? DEI, what are you talking about, dude? If I eat, say, 1,800 calories a day, and then I go, but remember, I can go to the gym and burn an extra 200 calories on the treadmill. That means I'm at like a 500-600 calorie deficit for the day. So if I'm in that much of a deficit, that means I'm always going to be losing weight. I was wondering why that wasn't working, but what's up, dude? YouTube chat has been weird lately. Sometimes it works and sometimes it just refuses to work. I can't figure out what's up with it. I'm just talking about the gym. What else, dude? That's all I fucking talk about, gym and eating here lately. But yeah, if you want to start, Dr. Crazy wants to talk to me, but I'm ignoring because watching Step. Got him. He needs to come here. Tell him he needs to come to the chat. Diversity, equity, inclusion, calorie deficit. True. Yeah, tell him he needs to get in my chat if he wants to talk to the doc. Okay? Anyways, yeah, Sam Sulek is a very popular fitness influencer. He actually just did his first 2 bodybuilding shows and he took first place in all of it. His division and the overall competition, he took first place 4 times in a row. So as far as I'm concerned, he knows what the fuck he's talking about. And if this dude will not shut up about calorie tracking and macros. So I'm just going to make my whole mentality about calorie tracking and macros. By the way, the fucking pin on one of my leg machines bit me, dude. Look at that. Focus, you bitch. There it is. Yeah, one of the pins on one of my leg machines as I was going to change it just fucking bit me and just gave me this black bruise. So that's cool. He is cooking, dude. Like, he actually got his IFBB Pro card, International Federation of Bodybuilders. He got his IFBB Pro card because he won the Arnold Classic a couple months ago. But anyways, he's very, very big on that. And a lot of people use this app called MyFitnessPal. I don't like MyFitnessPal, and he doesn't either, because it's just too complex. It like, you have to calculate all this shit, and it always wants you to input all this information throughout the day. Man, I got shit to do during the day. I don't have time to sit here and fucking get on my little app and calculate all my macros. Like, I just use this one, which he touts all the time, called like Stupid Simple Macro Tracker. You simply look at your nutrition label, type in what the fuck you're eating, done. That's it. You put in the calories you ate, you put in the macros you ate, done. None of the like searching for a thing that someone else has made. You don't have to do any of that shit. And I highly recommend doing that, because the second you're aware of how many calories you're eating, the second you make better choices related to that every time without failure. If you know, say for, like I was talking about before, he talks about calories like it's money. When he was doing this really long winter cut, because he was trying to get his weight down to enter classic physique for his bodybuilding shows, he was like, I have 2,200 calories. Basically, he's like, I think of it as money. He's like, I have $2,200 per day that I can spend. And when I've spent the 2,200, there's no more money. So there's no more food, you know? So he just thinks of it that way every day. It's like he wakes up with a budget, and you cannot go over budget. You can't afford to go over budget. And every time you do go over budget, you get put into debt and you lose progress. So you just think about that in terms of the diet and making progress there and everything, and it's a lot easier. And I think that's a good mentality. So I'm probably going to buy a food scale here soon, and I'm just going to start weighing fucking everything that I eat. Just weigh it all out. Make sure I know exactly how many calories I'm eating every day, meal prepping, all that shit. And I think that's going to help me big time, because for me, the gym is nothing. I can go to the gym 4 times a week, fucking no sweat. My shoulder's finally recovered, my right shoulder. Look at this fucking arm, dude. My arm is fucking built now. Both my arms are. But I can go to the gym 4 times a week. That's nothing. I'll do, you know, as many workouts as humanly possible. That part's easy to me now, because it only takes me like 2 days to recover. But the diet part needs to be on point if you really want to see progress. You're just simply not going to make progress just going to the gym. Maybe if you're a super young guy, maybe if you're like, I don't know, 20 to 25 or something, and you just have a crazy metabolism, then maybe you could get away with that. But you cannot eat, you know, sugary, high calorie foods and go over a caloric limit every single day. The saying goes, you're never going to be able to outrun a bad diet. And it's so fucking true. You cannot outrun a bad diet, no matter how much you try. Even if you ran 6 miles a fucking day, you would not be able to completely outrun a bad diet. Venting about Rust, the game? Like the survival game Rust? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah? What's he venting about, dude? It's not that serious, Dr. Crazy. It's just a game, dude. It's only a game. Why you have to be mad? But anyways. Yeah, dude, Core, I've been thinking a lot about our conversation the other day, man. I'm not gonna lie. That was a good ass conversation. It was like the middle of the night. I was just kind of clean. I woke up, I slept all fucking day, and I woke up at like 1 a.m. and I was just cleaning my apartment because we had an inspection coming up. They didn't end up showing up to do the inspection, by the way. But I don't know, man. I was just in a very interesting mood that night. So you bringing up that conversation and us talking about that shit, I was like, I kind of needed that. You know what I mean? He said he attacked someone with a pump SG and they sprayed on him and killed him. Probably means spray as in spraying bullets everywhere. We used to use that term spray and pray in Counter-Strike all the time, where you just like whip your mouse around and hope that it hits. By the way, check out this fanciful mouse we're using. The MX Master. the Stone colorway MX Master. I also have a black and bronze colorway here. If it ever decides to focus. Yeah, there's our black and bronze colorway. Look at that pattern on the thumb part, dude. That's the best part. Anyways, yeah, PS5S looking mouse. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, I was kind of talking, I don't want to like get into what me and anybody else talks about privately, but you know, I just have been thinking a lot about, I guess it's because I'm getting older in general. And yeah, you guys like to meme on me saying I'm old and stuff, and you're not wrong. Okay, let's be clear about that. You're not wrong at all. But, you know, when you get to be 30 plus, you really start thinking about like, I need to fix my bad dietary and exercise habits. Like, that thought really enters your mind a lot. And it was just the right time. Like, it needed to be done. Now that I'm so in the routine of going to the gym, I don't have to worry about the stress of starting over, because starting for the first time is the hardest part. You go to the gym, you work out for the very, very, very first time, and you're sore for like 6-7 straight days, and you're going to be in fucking agony. It sucks. It fucking hurts all day, every day. There's no relief. But every single time you go back, you recover faster and faster. And now I recover so fast that I have to basically work my shit into the ground, and then maybe a day and a half later, I'm fully recovered. So it just gets easier and easier the longer you do it. But that first one sucks so fucking bad that most people don't even come back to do it again. And I can't blame them either, because it does suck. It really sucks. So that's where, you know, every year I see the same thing happen. Everybody starts showing up to the gym on January 1st. New Year's resolution, gang. New year, new me. All that stuff. And then give it 2 weeks. About a quarter of those people will be gone. Give it 3 weeks. Half of those people will be gone. And then by the time you're coming up on March, they're mostly all gone. I am literally the only person left from the gang of New Year's people I saw. I'm the only person left. And it's going to be May. In like 4 hours. It'll be May 1st. When I go there now, at the same times I used to go in New Year's, it is a ghost town. I'm the only car in the parking lot. I'm the only person in the gym. So it's crazy, man. So it's like that kind of motivates me too, because I almost feel like I'm the last one standing. You know what I mean? And there's nothing more fun than an empty gym. Seriously, you just grab whatever equipment you need, do whatever the fuck you want to do. Nobody bothers you. I mean, the only chance of somebody even watching you would be if some weirdo was like watching the cameras, but why? I mean, unless they were just trying to make sure you weren't doing anything dumb or like potentially hurting yourself, I guess that makes sense. But it's like, you're just in your own world, you know? I like to put my AirPods in, do my own thing, you know, I like to do preacher curls where you rest your elbows and curl the bar up. It's just awesome, man. And it's part of the reason why I've been streaming less recently, is because I've kind of replaced this. Not entirely, of course. I still love this, and this is still a really important outlet for me, but I've kind of replaced this with going to the gym in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like I mean, they're open until 11 p.m. So if I'm just sitting here, you know, this time of night, 8:39, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go to the gym. Like, I'll be exhausted by the time I get done. I'll work up a good sweat. Come home, take a shower, and I'll be exhausted and ready to go to bed. You know what I mean? It's like this. I remember in high school, I had this history teacher who we were seniors in high school, remember? So we were almost out of high school. And he drew this big triangle on the board, and we had no idea what he was talking about. So he draws this big triangle on the chalkboard. We had actual chalkboards. I'm that old. And he circled the 3 points of the triangle, and he labeled one of them sleep, he labeled one of them school, and he labeled one of them friends. And he said, when you're in college and any time after college, you can pick 2, but you can't have all 3. So the same applies to work, except I have more like a fucking hexagon. I've got 6 points on mine. I've got gym, I've got stream, I've got work, don't have school, but I have gym, stream, work, YouTube. You know, real life is a big one, you know, like Bridget, the cats, my family. That's a fucking huge one. And then just real life obligations like running errands, driving to different places, running errands, paying bills, all that shit. That would be my number 6. So it's like mine's even tougher. And before this, I had 7 because I had to think about uploading my stream VODs too. Thankfully, now that we're live on YouTube all the time, that's not a consideration anymore. I don't have to worry about that. But in the past, it was a big problem because I would have to basically set aside a whole day just to sit there and do thumbnails and descriptions and all this different shit. And honestly, I was sick to death of it. So I'm actually very relieved. I love and I appreciate eternally that Mag set that channel up and we have all those streams archived. We didn't lose anything. I love that. But I'm very, very thankful that now they're just saved on YouTube and I don't have to worry about shit. You know, they're just immediately uploaded to YouTube and I don't have to make a thumbnail. I don't have to work any. I know it sounds lazy, but trust me, it's not lazy. I have a lot going on. Do you feel the same way, Dr. Red, sometimes? Like streaming, YouTube, doing all your thumbnails and titles and stuff for your StreamBot channel, like it's exhausting, dude. It's a lot of legwork. And then of course you get these like naysayers that just say, oh, you know, it's you just sit there and play video games. How hard is it, little bro? It's like, man, there's way more to it. There is way, way, way more to it than just sitting and playing video games. I wish that that's all there was to it. Damn, would my life be easier if it was? Shit would be infinitely easier if that's all there was to it. And I think it's also the biggest problem of it being that streaming is just something that never stops. You know, streaming is a 24/7, 365 machine and it never, ever, ever stops. And it's like, this is kind of cringy because Wings of Redemption has said this a lot, but he's not wrong. He says, like, we live in a world where if you're gone for a week, you might as well be gone for a month. And he's correct about that. He said this before he kind of went insane in 2017, but he was right about that. Like, that is kind of what we have going on. Like in content creation, if you take a week off, like that's okay generally, but any longer than that, and it's like done. It takes way more time than people think. 4-hour stream, wait for it to upload in full quality, get a good screenshot for the thumbnail, make the thumbnail, add title tags, thumbnail, the date, edit out copyrighted stuff if YouTube goes beta mode, and that's the bare minimum. Yeah. But of course, nobody sees that. Or, here's my favorite. I saw some idiot on Twitter. What's new? There's a lot of them over there. When a person, like a smaller content creator, was basically saying, like, guys, I can't handle this anymore. I'm done. I'm taking a long break, like possibly years from content creation. It's just too much work, this, that, and the other. And somebody actually responded and said, just hire an editor. Yeah, because everybody has money to just hire an editor. Okay, bud. Like, what a stupid statement that is, dude. It's like, oh, just buy a house. Just buy a car, dude. How hard could it be? Just buy this, just buy that. You understand how expensive it is to get like exclusivity to work with a video editor? You would have to pay them thousands of dollars a month. And at that point, you would have to have thousands of dollars coming in every month to justify said purchase. Not that it's a bad gig, but it's like, you can't just simply hire an editor. It doesn't work that way. You have to reach out to people you know are like reputable and good at video editing. You have to make sure they can do it quick in the time that you need, you know, the time frame that you require to get these projects done. There's a lot of moving parts. You can't just acquire an editor. It's not like you just go to the editor website and just select one and are like, oh, I pay you this much, you give me this much. It doesn't work that way. The only website I could even think of that even remotely works like that is Fiverr. Fiverr is basically, it's like online commission website. So you just go there, You look for services, and then you pay people for services depending on how much they charge. So yeah, I could go to Fiverr right now. In fact, let's do it. I'll go to Fiverr right now and look up video editing services and see what they offer. As long as it doesn't have any like location-based stuff. Okay, it doesn't look like it does. So here we go. Oh, wrong window. Okay. So here's Fiverr. Video editor. Here we go. No, dude. I will edit travel, sports, vlogs, YouTube, Instagram, and all type of video editing. $20 for 2 minutes. Okay. So imagine you have a 40-minute video. That's $40. No. A 20-minute video would be $100. So if you wanted this guy to edit a 20-minute video for you, you would need $100 to pay him. Check this out. $45 for 1 minute. Okay. 2-minute video would be $90 with this guy. A 3-minute video would be $135. But he has really good ratings, and I'm sure he would do a great job. I will do top 10 video editing, 5 minutes, $60. Professional video editing for YouTube, $100 for 5 minutes. Holy shit, dude. So, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of interesting. Like this is kind of interesting to me. I would like to take a look at this and like see, like here's $5 for 1 minute. That's good. But I would be curious to see like if I could actually find someone on here who does a great job, and I'd be willing to like come back to them and continue working with them. But the problem is everything about this, of course, this is going to sound stupid coming from me, but of course everything here costs money. You can't just trial somebody's work. Like they're putting in time and effort, they deserve to be paid. I will edit rap music video with VFX, $100. I will do engaging TikTok video editing, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. I will be your faceless YouTube editor. Like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. This is kind of enticing. Like, if I wanted to post, like, daily videos for a few weeks, it might be worth it to put down, like, 20 bucks a video. But, you know, that adds up so quick. Unless your YouTube channel is monetized, this is just a money sink. So I would recommend nobody use this until you're making money from your YouTube channel. Unless, I don't know, man, unless you just have money fucking coming out your ass and you can afford to go onto this website. I certainly can't. But if you can afford to go on here and pay a video editor to bang out a 20-minute video once a week, you know what? Good for you. I certainly cannot. But $10 for 1 minute, I think, is a fair rate. Like a 10-minute video, 10 people, here's the other thing. You know this, Dr. Red, and I know this. A 10-minute video takes way longer to edit than people realize. My video about the Resident Evil 4 save theme was, I don't even think it was 10 minutes long, but it took me like virtually a whole day to edit, and that was a really simply edited video. Yeah, like my Resident Evil 4 save theme video is 8 minutes and 18 seconds, and it took me like 7 hours to edit that shit. People don't understand how long it takes to edit this stuff, man. Yeah, when they use like the fucking Navi from Ocarina of Time, that MMX7 video took like 5 days or longer for a low effort. No, dude, that video was awesome. Don't say that. Don't sell yourself short, dude. That video was great. And you actually got like people engaging in the comments, like quite a bit. Like you got several comments of people that wanted to start, you know, that, dude, that is the best part. Like even if it's not in like the thousands of views, the engagement is the important part. And you got a ton of people, you know, starting conversations in the comments. Like that means something. That means that they listened to the video, they understood it, and they wanted to talk about it. That's huge. That's all you can ask for on YouTube, you know? Sorry. No more yawning. Anyways, why don't we watch this chilling scares video, hey? Time for the nightmare fuel segment. It is time. 5 most disturbing stealth camping encounters caught on camera. What in God's name is this? Why is there no sound? What is he doing exactly? Why does he look 20 and 50 at the same time? This dude actually looks 20 and 50 at the same time. It's kind of disturbing, actually. Very disturbing. Oro. Yeah, given a couple years, he'll look like Oro. Alright, here we go. Oh, let's open this in Chrome. You already know what time it is. But yeah, my other problem with it, Dr. Red, is like when you work with a video editor, the biggest issue that comes up when working with a video editor, period, is if you don't like the way the video turned out, it is such a painful process for you and the editor to like work out what you would like changed about it. So I wouldn't want to go to somebody unless I knew for sure that I liked what they did. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't like the idea of going to Fiverr. It's like, I would have to find a video editor that I trust. And then after finding a video editor that I trust, I would need to send them some footage and some audio just of me talking in the video and be like, hey, can you give me like a quick sample edit? I'll pay you for it, but can you give me like a quick sample edit just so I can see how you work and what your editing style is like? You know what I mean? I would almost have to do that before I could consider, working with somebody over and over, because I'm just a very paranoid person. Like when I had my sub badges made on Fiverr, it was a fucking disaster. The lady, nicest lady in the world, nothing wrong with her at all. It just was like such a miscommunication. Like she didn't understand what I was asking for. She was giving me like all these really weird designs that didn't scale correctly. And I'm not talking about Moda, by the way, because Moda did a fucking excellent job. I'm talking about a lady on Fiverr that I went to first. Again, she was the nicest lady in the world and like messages back and forth and stuff. But she was like giving me these rectangular designs. And if you see like the radios, they have to be, or the chainsaws, the radios, whatever they are, they have to be diagonal or they're basically not viewable. They're too small. So like we just went back and forth and I tried to relay it. And eventually I was like, you know what? I give up. I was like, I'm sorry. You're really nice and everything. I'll go ahead and pay you, but I appreciate it, but I'll go elsewhere. Thank you for everything, but I'm just going to go elsewhere. Okay. So I paid her and I just moved on. That's what I did, because it was just that we weren't getting anywhere. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't understanding me. I was trying to ask her certain things and it just wasn't getting anywhere. So, and then I went to Moda and I paid her and it worked out perfectly fine. So, you know, that was a good decision in the end, but it's like, oh man, it's just so frustrating. So I would imagine the process would be even worse with a video editor, because that takes so much longer than sub badges. And if you don't like how the video turned out, you feel like such an asshole going to them and being like, hey, can you like change this part that you just spent hours working on? You know what I mean? Anyways, let's actually get into the video, because I'm yapping far too much here.
On YouTube is a channel run by 30-year-old Ian, who's been posting on the platform for the better part of a decade.
Sent you a screenshot of what you did. Actually, dude. I said, you know what? You have fun. But I'm on to bigger and better things. Bon voyage.
His content covers everything from day-in-the-life work vlogs to different adventures after hours. And while most of it is nothing more than fun, one particular encounter left him shaken to his core. On January 18th, 2024, Ian posted a video going over the disturbing experience he had while stealth camping in a McDonald's parking lot in Palm Springs, California.
Oh God, you couldn't get away with that in most of the areas in the South. I'm sure you know about that, Dr. Red. Don't ever camp overnight in a McDonald's parking lot unless you want something bad to happen to you.
Stealth camping, for those who don't know, is when someone spends the night in a vehicle or tent in an area not officially designated for camping, usually while trying to avoid detection. It's often done out of necessity, curiosity, or simply for the thrill of it.
It is,
And
dude.
while it can be harmless, it also means the camper is completely exposed and vulnerable to whatever or whoever might be lurking nearby. This is exactly what happened with Ian on the 16th of January 2024. He'd been stealth camping for quite some time by that point, and had spent nights in much harsher conditions, like during heavy rain or in a sandstorm. So, staying overnight in a McDonald's parking lot seemed like nothing to him. Unfortunately, he couldn't have been more wrong. After setting everything up, he went to lie down in the back of his car. But just as he was about to fall asleep, he was interrupted by the sound of someone repeatedly trying to open his car's door. He immediately got up to see who it was, and this is what he came across.
What's going on, man? What's going on? What's up? What's up, man? What's going on? What are you doing?
There was a man standing
Crackhead.
outside the passenger door. What made the encounter even more unsettling was that the man never said a word, even as Ian repeatedly called out to him, trying to get some kind of explanation for what he was doing.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the last thing he better do is open the fucking door. That would be a disaster.
What's up? What you doing, man? Ain't weird, bro.
Despite his panic, however,
Dude, that freaked me out. I thought like the guy was sliding to his left. Look,
What you doing, man? Ain't weird, bro.
I didn't realize he was backing up. I was like, what the fuck? He is aura farming.
Despite his panic, however, he made the wise decision to stay locked within his car and quickly drive to a more hidden spot in the lot. But that wasn't enough, because just a few minutes later, Ian spotted the same man walking around the parking lot, possibly trying to locate his car. Fearing for his safety, he drove to a completely different location and managed to sleep through the rest of the night without any incident.
Couldn't be me. I would just never do that again.
Still, the question remained, who was this man and what exactly was he trying to do? Ian never made a follow-up or shared any more info regarding the encounter in the video's description, so we can only speculate on what happened that night. Now, it's entirely possible that he was just a harmless, mentally ill person who wasn't fully conscious of what he was doing.
He looks like he was either drunk or on drugs, to be honest with you. The fact that he looks all floaty like that and like he's not all there and didn't say anything, that makes me think that yeah, that's what's going on.
This could explain why he didn't answer when Ian called out to him and just calmly walked away without a word. However, a far more likely explanation is that the act of trying to break into Ian's car was completely intentional, and when he was caught, he just acted confused and harmless to seem less threatening. Perhaps he really thought the car was empty and was trying to steal it. Or maybe he knew Ian was inside and had intentions to rob him or something far more sinister. His strange behavior also suggested that he might have been under the influence of some kind of drugs, which would have made him even more unstable and by extension more dangerous. Fortunately, Ian managed to drive away unscathed before he could find out the man's true intentions. On February 11th, 2024, stealth camping YouTuber...
See, dude, this is the type of content I should be making. I love this stuff, but there are certain...
Bruh.
What's up, Kendo? I love this type of content so much because look how small these channels are that he explores.
On February
Look,
11th,
37k subs. Nobody would know about this guy if it wasn't for videos like this. It's so fucking awesome. Like, it's just so difficult to find channels like this. So now these channels get some much needed attention and we get to learn some really cool stuff. What's up, by the way, Kendo? You know, we're in the middle of some nightmare fuel.
2024, stealth camping YouTuber Brendan Explores posted a video of him spending a night in the small village of Jaywick, England. The thing about Jaywick, however, is that it's been named as the most deprived town in all of
I'm
England.
getting comfortable.
The combination of high unemployment and poor living conditions has pushed many of its residents toward a life of crime. Brendan, however, wanted to see the village firsthand to decide whether it was truly as bad as the media made it out to be. His first impressions of the place were quite good, with him admiring the natural landscape surrounding the village. What he didn't realize at the time was that this lighthearted escape to the countryside would soon spiral into complete disaster. It began with him driving.
I think BoJack Unbound and the first Broly are a couple of my favorite movies, but only in Japanese. And then I also really love The Dead Zone and World's Strongest. Those are excellent movies. But the first Broly movie, I think, is the peak.
Driving through the town and searching for a discreet spot to park his van so he could settle in before it got dark. He eventually found a parking lot that looked promising and decided to make it his home for the night.
It is.
But it didn't take long for him to start noticing a series of red flags in the area, like people riding around with gangster rap blaring from a speaker, and a group of street racers speeding down the road right in front of the parking lot.
Okay, but to be fair,
As
that
the evening
guy does not look like he's going fast enough to actually be street racing, to be fair.
Approached, he was also left alone in the parking lot, making him a prime target for any would-be robber. So, after thinking about it for a few minutes, he thought it would be best to leave the parking lot and find a more secluded spot for camping.
Oh god.
He eventually went down a dirt
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, dude. Holy shit.
trail and parked in the middle of nowhere without any houses or
Hell
major
no.
roads nearby.
Hell no.
This turned out to be the worst decision Brendan could have made in that situation. Because at around 2:30 a.m., about 4 hours after he went to sleep, he was woken up by the sound of someone walking around his van.
I think someone's outside the van.
Yeah, Deliverance, dude.
That must do.
It's like, maybe he just parked on somebody's property and they're trying to find out who the hell he is. But if you're in his situation, it's freaky because you're like, do I make my presence known or do I not? Like, is it safer to make my presence known and yell, or do I just not say anything? What if they're armed? You know, you don't know what the right decision is.
This person then tried to open the van's sliding door.
Someone just tried the door.
But before Brendan even had a chance to fully understand his predicament, this happened.
Hey!
Oh shit.
Whoever this person was shattered the passenger side window before running away once Brendan started shouting. In the video's description, Brendan speculated that this person was likely trying to steal the mini refrigerator he had on the passenger seat. While this might not be entirely accurate, there's still some truth behind it. Judging by the fact that the intruder fled the moment they heard Brendan, it's likely they were simply looking to steal something, nothing more. As for how they managed to find his van in the middle of nowhere, it's entirely possible that they stalked him from when he was in town. However, given these circumstances, the situation could have turned out a lot worse.
Yeah.
As one comment under the video pointed out, when you said you had found the perfect quiet spot after driving away from town down a quiet pitch black lane in the middle of nowhere with nobody else
Dude, this is what the fuck I'm saying. That trail looks scarier than anything they showed in the actual town. Fuck that.
around for miles, at that point I was absolutely terrified. How on earth you managed to go to sleep to begin with amazes me. A few blokes with their hoods pulled down and armed, and you wouldn't have stood a chance. While nothing truly tragic occurred, the experience was terrifying enough to rattle Brendan. Instead of staying the night, he drove through the darkness until daybreak just to make it back home, which was ultimately the right call. He's still making stealth camping videos, but now he's far more cautious about where he parks, especially when it comes to remote or isolated spots.
What the pimp my ambulance? What? Brendan, what is this video, dude? I'm glad
In
you're
March of
okay.
2025,
Glad you're okay, but what the hell is that video? What's up, Kendo? Oh, look at that silver chainsaw with the silver name. Oh, shit. Wow. Well, great name, but still.
a camping YouTuber named Daniel Mark Brown planned a stealth camping trip in the woodlands surrounding Oswestry, England. His plan was simple: travel alongside one of the many hiking trails in the area and then go off trail to find a good stealth spot. And this worked better than he expected, finding the perfectly hidden camping area in no time.
Hey, I kind of recognize this guy.
After setting down his supplies, Daniel went to the nearby river to cook a meal before heading back to the spot he'd found earlier. By the time he came back, it was already starting to get dark and the trail was starting to empty out, giving Daniel the peace of mind to wind down and call it a night. However, what happened next made him realize the true danger he was in. After laying out his sleeping bag, settling down, and finally falling asleep, 90 minutes had passed when he was suddenly jolted awake.
I've 100% been spotted. Right, I'm trying to keep calm and keeping calm.
I hate saying this, man, but it almost feels...
How you been?
What's up, John? How you doing, man? We're watching 5 most disturbing stealth camping encounters caught on camera. I figure this video would be right up your alley. You know, you're into the horror compilations. Blockbuster John, resident Laker fan. He might be very disappointed tonight, depending on what happens. Oh shit. My bad, dude. I'm a terrible streamer. I don't know how to shout people out again. Boom. What were you? Oh, USF4. What a horrible game. I'll never play it again. Oh shit, my sound effect isn't working. Wait, what? Why are they not working? Come on, dude. There we go. I need my sound effects. They're my comedic crutches. Anyways, 5 most disturbing stealth camping encounters caught on camera. So this guy was going out in the middle of the woods camping. Somebody caught him. Obviously, this was not intended, and a Blair Witch-esque situation apparently ensues. So let's find out what happens.
And realized the true danger he was in. After laying out his sleeping bag, settling down, and finally falling asleep, 90 minutes had passed when he was suddenly jolted awake.
I've 100% been spotted. Right, I'm trying to keep calm and keeping calm. I'm almost too scared to breathe here.
I was gonna say I hate saying this, but it almost makes these videos feel scripted when they act like this. Because if you're in a life-threatening situation, why would you grab the fucking camera and start recording?
I think a dog or something just came in.
Daniel was woken up by the cracking of branches, followed by the light from a flashlight. He eventually found the courage to unzip his sleeping bag to see who was out there.
Missed family trip due to stomach flu. Now I'm alone at home being a maid. It sucks, man. I fucking hate being sick more than anything. I would leave me PS4, and that is saying more than it should. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They're looking straight at me. I'm trying not to panic.
I mean, dude, you at this point just explain the situation. What are they gonna do? Like, you're already caught. Just explain the situation. Maybe you're on somebody's property. You didn't realize it. I don't know. But like, what's the worst that could happen here if they've already seen you?
At this point, he couldn't think of anything else to do but call out to the person who was now aiming the flashlight at him. But instead of getting a reply of any kind,
Oh yeah, I'm kind of nervous, man. Like, at least I have a backup, a contingency plan, so to speak, with the Cavs. Yeah, no, dude, they're loving it. Both my parents are loving it. I was gonna say, at least the Cavs are killing it. They swept, didn't they? They're just chilling onto the semifinals. But these Lakers, they're fucking stressing me out, dude. Stressing me out. Down 3-1. I highly doubt they're gonna win. I would say the best they can do is win one more, and then I say they lose in 6, most likely. If they come back and win this, that would be a hell of a feat, but I don't know, man. I mean, that's all right. I don't have a way to watch it live anyways. I'll just check out the score later.
person who was now aiming the flashlight at him. But instead of getting a reply of any kind, the person just turned around and disappeared into the woods, never to be seen again.
It's on Max. Oh, we actually do have Max, but nah. You know, I gotta sit here and stream, dude. I can't start a stream and then leave before I hit the 4-hour mark.
Hello?
And disappeared into the woods, never to be seen again.
Yeah, I think this one's scripted, you guys.
Hello?
Staged.
They haven't been about, I haven't seen a single light now for maybe 5-10 minutes. I don't even know. I've been just trying to keep as calm as possible. But when they walked off and the light went out, I don't even know which direction they were. But somewhere in that direction.
Sorry, bro. I think this one's scripted. Fun video and all,
I'll
but
forget it. Let's just go.
This experience startled him enough to quickly pack his stuff and hightail out of the wooded area. However, if the person with the flashlight had malicious intent, leaving the campsite wasn't going to be an easy task. The way they refused to respond to Daniel's hello was unsettling enough. But how they silently turned off their light and disappeared into the woods suggested they might have been hiding, waiting to ambush him to rob him, or possibly worse. That being said, it's entirely possible that the mysterious person was just someone walking their dog at night or something else completely innocent.
man, I used to live with neighbors that did this. When they needed to walk their dog, they would go like down this really fucking scary trail in the middle of the night. Like, this guy would get his dog on a leash. He would put a headlamp on, like one of those ones that strap to your head with like the elastic band, and he would just go walking down a trail at like midnight. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? It's not even an irrational fear thing. Like, that just wasn't safe to do in our area. Dude had balls of steel.
As for why they didn't reply to Daniel, it's possible they were just as scared as he was after hearing a hello from the darkness of the woods. However, we also can't rule out the possibility that they were trying to sneak up on Daniel for some sinister reason, only turning around once they realized they'd been spotted. Whatever the case may be, Daniel made it out of the woods safely without encountering the same person again.
Oh, it's a cool shot though.
Ellie and Graham are an elderly duo from the UK who travel around the country in their camper van.
Dude, like half these videos have been from the UK. Is stealth camping like way more popular over there? One bear, one mountain lion, one wolf, one bad person. You're cooked. Yeah, for real. For real.
While vlogging about their adventures on YouTube. In November of 2022, they were on one of their trips when they had to urgently travel back home due to an emergency. However, they were too far away to make it back in one day. After searching online, they found a stealth camping spot on the outskirts of a town called Altrincham. It was a fairly small car park, but the couple was in a hurry, so they didn't have any other choice but to camp there for the night, hoping to get back on the road the next morning. What they didn't expect, however, was that this would spiral into the most terrifying experience of their entire camp.
Really quick, I just want to say, if you're ever traveling long distances, the best thing to do is bring somebody with you and alternate your sleep schedules. Like, if it's a really long distance, like we're talking 20+ hour drive, you drive the first 10 hours, then you trade places with your passenger so they can sleep while you're driving initially, then you trade places with them, then you sleep, then after 10 hours you trade places again, like tandem driving. That's the best way to do it. Like, if you get into a position where both people desperately need sleep, you kind of messed up. You got to try to avoid that to the best of your ability.
Camping journey. By the time they got to this location, it was already dark out. They parked their van and settled in for the night, going to sleep at around 11 p.m. But then at 1 a.m., both of them woke up to the sound of loud music blaring from a car. However, the music stopped soon after, so they brushed it off and began settling back into their bed. That's when they both heard a disturbing bang coming from their own van. It was loud enough that they thought a tree had fallen onto their van. They quickly rushed outside to see what had happened.
Why not just teleport like Dalsum? Good point, dude. Why don't more people just teleport?
This was the shocking sight they came across.
Like Seth.
Just can't believe it. We've just been woken up with a loud bang. And,
Through a brick.
you dropped something on the floor there. Or was that glass? 2 bricks. And someone's just smashed Merlin's windows while we were sleeping. So no, we don't recommend this as a place to stop. They smashed the windscreen, but Graham's hoping he can drive with that. But here's us in the middle of nowhere with a broken window and a cracked windscreen. About 200 miles from home.
After some investigation, they found 3 bricks around the van, which was severely damaged. The windshield was cracked, the passenger side window was completely shattered, and the van had a massive dent behind the sliding door. More troubling than the physical damage to the van was the psychological impact on Ellie and Graham, who were now absolutely terrified. It's also possible that this could have been a trap designed to lure them out of the safety of their locked van. However, even after hours had passed, no one approached the couple, attempted a break-in, or made any kind of move toward them. But instead of bringing comfort, this only made the two even more unsettled. They were just attacked with multiple bricks, yet they had no idea who did it and why. After talking to the family from another camper van that was parked nearby, they learned that the attacker came in a car, as the other family heard tire screeches after the attack. Ellie and Graham also figured that this was a group effort, because despite the multiple bricks...
When the small town that I grew up in, we had a lot of dumbass, like, teen guy groups that would go around and do dumb shit like this. A lot of them ended up getting arrested for disturbing the peace and stuff like that, but, you know, especially with elderly people, they would go do dumb shit like this, so that's probably all that happened here. Still shitty, of course, but I don't think there's anything more malicious than just idiots playing a prank.
There was only one collision sound. In other words, there were at least 3 suspects who threw bricks at the same time. Why would anyone attack an elderly couple out of nowhere and then leave without gaining anything from it? Maybe they just wanted to scare off campers for whatever reason. But if that were the case, why was the other van spared completely? Unfortunately, there's really no clues to help answer these questions. No faces were seen, no
Dr. Crazy like people, shots fired.
Voices were heard, and no clear motive ever emerged, leaving the entire incident a complete mystery. And while Ellie and Graham were too scared to ever go stealth camping again after this incident, it seems by now they've since made a complete recovery and are back on the road again. On the 15th of July 2022, YouTuber The Abandoned Camper uploaded a video of her stealth camping in an abandoned cemetery from the 1800s.
Why, dude? Why? Why do people do these things for content?
Things started off quite normal as she found a clearing hidden in the thick foliage and began unpacking her camping gear. After setting up camp, she decided to explore the cemetery to pass the time until nightfall. And that's when things started to take a strange turn. As she was filming the gravestones, she began to hear what sounded like a bunch of kids screaming.
That one just sounded like a dog barking.
She assumed she was alone in the cemetery. However, she
Raccoons.
could not have been more wrong. As she was going back to her camp, she saw a group of kids in the distance who likely knew about her presence.
So if you can't tell, it's pretty dark here right now, but there are kids here, like young kids in the cemetery. And I'm wondering how active this place actually is. Do people come here at night and...
This is why you need to do your research before you just go to a cemetery that's been around since the 1800s and try to stealth camp there. Scope the place out like a couple days before and see if it's active. See if a bunch of people go there. What are you doing?
kind of party in the forest or something? That dog kind of ruined it. Not ruined it, I shouldn't say that. The dog barking, I didn't want to disturb anybody, especially since I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah, like
So
you're trespassing technically too, so.
I think I'll finish my exploring tomorrow morning. And because there seems to be still a lot of stuff here. See?
Yeah, that just sounds like, again, idiot teens messing around.
Kid, I think they know
He's pretending he's a wolf.
I'm here. That's not good.
At this point, she was pretty certain that the kids knew about her and were just messing with her. However, she still kept her camera rolling just in case, and even made sure that she wasn't followed back to the campsite.
I'm gonna keep this recording. Just in case.
They sacrificed that dog. Good God. What horror movies have you been watching, Dr. Red?
And find out what they're doing. If they're actually watching me or not. Well, I can see them. I just don't want them to see where I'm going.
I can't see anything right now, dude. Like, these lights are just blinding me.
Okay. I think they're gone.
Once back at her stealth campsite, she started a small fire to cook her food. Unfortunately, this turned out to be a huge mistake, because shortly after starting the fire, she started hearing the sound of people talking and walking toward her in the forest.
There are people walking around back here. They don't have headlamps on, but, like I said in my last video, I do not like being around people in the middle of a forest, especially when it's dark out.
Okay, but where's the, like, accountability here? You went here, you lit a fire in a place you're not supposed to be, you're stealth camping. Like, some of this is on you, okay? A little bit of this is on you. Come on now.
So, I might pack up and get out of here when I think the coast is clear.
It's unclear what the kids' intentions were, and we likely won't ever know, as she made the wise decision to avoid any risk by packing up her things and quickly leaving the cemetery, making sure to remain as quiet as possible.
Ooh, forest encounters caught on camera would be a nice one. Yeah, I mean, I knew about stealth camping. I knew what it was, but I didn't know it was so popular. And I guess it's really popular in the UK because like 3 of the 5 examples in this video were all from the UK. I tell you, man, I learned something new about YouTube every time. Has this been Shiki? No. Now, I did know about like van life videos, and van life videos are in a very similar vein to stealth camping videos, where it's like, you know, these people, they will modify maybe an old step van or something that used to be a FedEx truck. They'll modify those trucks, like the manual FedEx trucks, and they'll put, you know, a solar panel on the top, and they'll put a security system in there, and they have storage and a fridge and a hot plate, like all these things they can use. And they'll even like solder in a breaker box, you know, completely by hand. They'll solder in a breaker box. It's really cool. And they use, you know, boat batteries to get their electricity and everything. And those are kind of in a similar vein to where they'll just park sometimes wherever they can, but at least with those like van life people, they usually have communities that'll get together, and they'll have a community area, which is good because it's better for safety. They'll usually have like a communal parking area that they'll all meet at, just a designated public place where they'll all park, like, you know, hang out their laundry to dry and whatever the hell they need to do, all that type of thing. And they actually create like these pop-up neighborhoods. It's actually really, it's interesting. It's almost like, you know, people that just want to be off the grid, you know, having that sense of community. Very little technology going on, lots of older people, some younger, but mostly older people doing this. And I think we're going to see more of this as time goes on, and like the fucking housing crisis that we're in. Not that I wanted a Stampede G stream to be about the fucking housing crisis, but it kind of leads into that, where it's like shit just keeps getting so expensive that I think more and more people are just selling their houses and fucking modifying a van because it's cheaper. Like, you just live in your van. Like, if you need a shower, you can purchase a gym membership, go shower at the gym. That's what a lot of people do. You know, buy gallons of water, you know, keep massive tanks. So there's a lot of things you can do to make living in a van not so bad. But anyways, how about 6 most disturbing forest encounters caught on camera?
In January,
I think this is 6 months ago. How did we not watch this? How the fuck did we not watch this already? I tell you, man, we've had that transition for a year. I still like it. And I will never change it. It's like my favorite stream transition I've ever had.
January 2015, a group of New Zealand film students were recording outside their school at Auckland's Parnell railway station. The footage you're seeing now was recorded by a student named Chris Meir. For a few minutes, Chris and his friends were messing around and having fun as they filmed. But that's when the group spotted a man and a woman wearing creepy white masks hiding in the tall grass next to the station and staring ominously at the camera.
This is like that movie with Liv Tyler. What's it called? The Strangers or something like that? Jeff the Killer, dude. Now that's classic internet right there. They're doing their little Slipknot cosplay.
As it was later revealed, Chris and his buddies first thought that the masked people were probably pranksters from the school trying to creep them out, which is why they can be heard laughing throughout the footage. However, the students later confessed that it was more so nervous laughter and that they were actually pretty terrified during the encounter. Disturbingly, looking at the footage, they noticed that the couple appeared to be armed. In some of the clips, it looks like one of them is holding a pistol.
Well, that's why they're nervous. They think they're gonna get reported to the police.
Where's the other one? Where's the other one?
Call the police.
I don't see him.
As soon as the suspects got a little too close for comfort, the group ran back to the main road, after which they reportedly saw a police chopper approaching the area of the incident. It's not entirely clear who called the cops that day, but based on my research, this wasn't the first time the couple had harassed the public with their creepy masks and weapons. Earlier that week, they had terrorized a woman at Auckland's Domain Park, but left before the police were able to arrest them. When the cops arrived at the train station, Chris and his friends gave them the report, after which the Auckland Police Department uploaded a Facebook post where they urged the suspects to come forward and warned civilians to stay far away from the masked couple if they saw.
2015 was like the most active year for videos like this. I swear, 80 to 90% of all the incidents covered in these videos took place in 2015. What the hell was in the water that year?
Them.
All over the world.
They also cautioned that if they saw someone carrying what appeared to be a weapon, they had no way of knowing if the weapon was real or fake and would
I was in the water. Oh. Dr. Red, I'm still waiting for the day where you sing that and upload it, dude. We're all waiting.
be forced to approach the situation as if it were real. Shortly after that, the suspects reportedly came forward to talk to the cops. Throughout the investigation, the authorities didn't release a whole lot of information to the public about who these people were, whether their weapons were real, or what their intentions were. But one thing we know for sure is that this wasn't just an innocent prank. In fact, when a lot of people online started accusing the students of staging a prank just to get attention, a spokesperson from the school came forward to clarify that the masked suspects had nothing to do with the institute. According to an article from Vice, a police spokesperson later confirmed that the weapons were fake. But I wasn't able to find any official confirmation of this.
Water
and to
guns.
this day, not a lot of people know who the suspects were
Pop
or
guns.
why they were terrorizing the public for no reason. Whatever the case, it's a good thing Chris and his friends were able to get away before things took a turn for the worse.
You know, not to relay everything in these videos to my life, but I knew a guy in school who was obsessed with masks, and he would just wear masks everywhere. I don't know if he was into the whole Slipknot thing, or maybe it was just a cultural thing, but yeah, he would just wear like all these fucking custom-made masks everywhere. He had the anonymous V for Vendetta mask and everything.
Near the base of Mount Fuji in Japan lies a forest that's known among the locals as the Sea of Trees. Interestingly, the entire forest grew out of a 30 square kilometer patch of hardened lava that was laid down by the last major eruption of Mount Fuji. A little more disturbingly though, over the years the Sea of Trees has become known as a place where people go to take their own lives. And if you venture far enough into the forest, it's not uncommon at all to find a body. Near the entrance of the forest, a sign written in Japanese reads, "Quietly think once more about your parents."
Yeah, Mount Fuji is a volcano. Yeah. I saw a documentary about the suicide forest one time. It is very, very dark and disturbing.
Entrance of the forest, a sign written in Japanese reads, "Quietly think once more about your parents, siblings, and children. Please don't suffer alone, and first reach out." In July 2017, urban explorer and YouTuber Burbax ventured into the forest to see what he'd find, walking his viewers through his entire journey into the Sea of Trees. But even though the video starts out tame enough, just a few minutes into his exploration, the uploader comes across an abandoned bike, and that's when things get a little disturbing.
How many times does this have to happen before people realize you shouldn't go into the suicide forest and record a fucking YouTube video, man? Didn't you people learn from Logan Paul not to do this shit? This is not fucking content. The suicide forest in Japan is not content for you. It doesn't matter where it is. It's not like I'm being a weeb or like protecting Japanese culture or anything. This is not culture. This is just fucking dark. This is not content for you.
I'm only a few meters away from the road right now, but I've already found an abandoned bike. It's actually a pretty nice bike. Let's take a look at it.
And what do you think you were going to find in here? Yeah, everything is the next fucking video for these people.
Time. What do we got in here? And there's a packet for a knife. I think I've just found some kind of note in a bag. It says
And now he's going to read somebody's suicide note for content. Really?
12/11. I can't quite make out. I think this is somebody's name just here. And I'm not sure what this means.
On top of the bike, Burbex finds an empty piece of packaging for a kitchen knife, and a few minutes later, he comes across a note written on a plastic bag. The note translates to 1211 verified, Fuji Yoshida Police Station verified, meaning it's likely evidence of someone who abandoned their stuff to take their own life in the forest, confirmed by the local police station. It's incredibly haunting to think how many lives have been lost in that forest over the years, and even more disturbing to think that any random passerby could easily find the body while exploring the terrain. Over the years, the Japanese government has implemented several measures, such as placing security cameras near the entrance to track those who walk inside, as well as training volunteers to talk to the visitors who are thinking of taking their lives. Still, this hasn't stopped people from following through with it.
Yeah, so in the documentary I watched, this was back in maybe 2012, 2013 that it originally came out. Basically, what you have to understand about this is Japan has a very hectic pace. And I watch a lot of these day in the life of various different Japanese worker videos, like firemen, delivery workers, factory workers, butchers, ramen chefs, all these different things. And basically, Japan's culture revolves around work. Once you become an adult, you find your job, whether you're a salaryman or whatever you are, and typically you work that job until you retire. Hate to say it, but if someone goes all the way there, camera or generic, everything is okay speech, it's not going to do anything. Yeah, that's true. Whether you install a camera, put a little everything's going to be all right note, like at that point, I feel like most people are too far gone. Yeah, and it's going to require some psychological intervention, so to speak. But, yeah, like I was saying, like Japan has a very hectic life. And much like in America, there are some people in Japan who simply can't function with little sleep and 12 to 13 hours of work virtually every day of their lives. They just can't handle it. And it's understandable. The other thing you got to understand is Japan is very big on the reputation of not just you, but your entire family. So if you do something that is disappointing, you've now disappointed your family in the community's eyes. So there are some people, like I remember in the documentary, it was talking about like someone had left a note saying, you know, I wanted to be a lawyer, but I failed. I couldn't pass, you know, the examinations. And because of that, like instead of admitting to his family that he failed the exams to become a lawyer, because like his father was a lawyer and his grandpa was a lawyer, instead of admitting that he couldn't complete it, he just decided to come here and take his own life because he didn't want his family to be disappointed. Like that's the type of intense, difficult culture that Japan can have. So we watch these videos of Japan from a distance and we think, wow, everything is so cool. You know, they have all these awesome restaurants and all these cool shops and Shibuya, you know, there's all these neon lights overnight, and Akihabara, you can go in these otaku malls and get all these figures and video games and collectibles and stuff, but it is a very difficult place to live for some people. And that's part of the reason why something like this exists. It's fucked up, but it's true.
And the fact that the media has really played a big part in sensationalizing the forest in recent years hasn't helped either.
Yeah. That's another problem. The documentary that I watched is part of that too. in America, they love to run all these documentaries sensationalizing this forest as if it's some mythical place. And by them doing that, they motivate more people to go there. Maybe not intentionally, but they do. Whether they intend to do that or not, that's what the result is.
In early 2023, a man named David Meredith was taking his usual evening stroll through his neighborhood in Red Deer, Canada, when he suddenly saw a bull moose eating next to a tree. Hoping to catch a better glimpse, he hid behind the tree to watch. And that's when the moose turned around and started charging at him. To understand how incredibly dangerous this is, keep in mind that an adult male moose can run faster than 35 miles per hour, which is almost twice as fast as the max speed for the average human male. Even though moose aren't generally aggressive, they can easily trample and kill a human if they feel threatened, which is probably what happened here. Fearing for his life, David hoisted...
Oh, we just had this conversation the other day. Literally the last stream. We just had this conversation about animals and people not realizing how dangerous they are. 100%, dude. People don't understand that these animals can kill you in one aggressive, charge. They're not fucking pets, and you should not try to pet them.
Himself up the tree next to him to avoid getting stabbed by the moose's antlers.
He just ran me up a tree.
And they will fuck you up if they feel threatened. Japan isn't ramen and anime. It's a country with its own issues and problems too. No amount of paint can fix real life. Exactly. That's so true. We, as Americans, we watch Japan from a distance, right? And we see, one of my favorite YouTube videos is about this old man who runs an overnight ramen stall, like a food stall. And it's like this inspirational story. He's 65 years old. I think he's 66 now. And he's still running this ramen stall. People come all hours of the night to eat it, and it looks delicious and it's cheap. But then I sit and I think about the situation. He's a 66-year-old man who still has to basically break his own back to do this job, and he's making virtually nothing from it. It's on one hand, it's inspirational, but then depending on who's watching it, their perspective might be it's fucked up that he has to continue working when he's this old, whereas in America, he would probably be on Social Security by now. And Japan's culture is very different. Like when children grow up, they don't typically take care of their parents like we do in America. Like in America, typically when the kids grow up and they're independent and they're working, they then start to take care of the parents as the parents are slowing down the work. But in Japan, that's just not the case. So a lot of times there's elderly people that'll continue working into their 60s, 70s, even 80s. It's crazy. He's like, yeah, you thought you were some Disney princess for real. You're not.
As soon as he was out of the moose's reach, he started recording. For about 30 seconds, the moose just stares at David, and you can hear the uploader's nervous breathing as he waits for the moose to leave. But shortly after, the moose starts charging back and forth with its head down, which is a clear sign that it's stressed and would probably trample David if he were to come down or fall from the tree. Based on what he mentioned to the news station that interviewed him a couple of days later, David stayed in the tree for over 10 minutes waiting for the moose to leave him alone. When asked how he climbed up the tree, he demonstrated how he pulled himself up by a flimsy-looking branch, which is honestly one of the most concerning parts of this whole situation.
Kind of broken.
That branch breaks, and David would have been at the mercy of a very angry moose and might not have lived to tell the tale. Luckily, after seeing that David wasn't coming down, the moose finally gave up and ran off, thanks to which the uploader was able to come down safely after waiting it out for around an extra half hour.
Fuck that.
In February 2018, a man named Greg Harris...
I've seen this. I can actually call this. I saw this video outside. Some fucking moron put steel wires out, which, if you don't know, if the steel wire is thin enough, it can literally decapitate you. If you've ever played Hitman games where he uses piano wire to choke somebody out, this is the equivalent of doing that. If you're driving fast enough and someone puts steel wire out, it can literally decapitate you. So thankfully, this guy hits it and he falls off, but he could have been killed. And that's why you know, this person, whoever put this wire up, is a piece of shit and probably should have been charged with attempted murder.
GoPro video of himself riding his ATV on an unnamed trail. For the first few seconds, the footage shows pretty much exactly what you'd expect from this kind of upload. But in the blink of an eye, something extremely disturbing interrupts Greg's ATV ride. If you didn't catch it, someone had set up a metal wire between the two trees, which got caught in the uploader's helmet and forced him to stop. It's pretty disturbing to think that if Greg hadn't been so lucky, he could have been decapitated by the wire.
Yes, 100%.
Fortunately, as mentioned in the video description, his speed, along with the wire hitting his helmet instead of his neck, caused it to break as he passed through it. It might seem shocking that anyone would even think of doing.
Well, Dr. Red, apparently, I think I looked into it at the time, and apparently someone was upset at the sound of the ATVs, and it was like waking them up, so I guess they decided to try to kill the person fucking riding it. Yeah, great solution. Don't talk to the person, don't ask them to drive somewhere else, just try to kill them.
Doing something as incredibly evil as setting up a lethal booby trap in the middle of an ATV trail. But sadly, it's actually pretty common in the dirt bike and ATV community. Sometimes these wires are set up by people trying to keep bikers off their property. Others are set up by psychos who get irritated by the noise and decide to use violence to fix the issue.
Yep.
And the rest are set up by people who are just messed up in the head and want to bring harm to others for no reason. In this case, it's impossible to tell who is responsible for setting up the trap. This is just one of those videos where if the wire was set up just slightly lower, the accident could have easily been fatal. Luckily, he was able to walk away with minimal injuries, and he used his video as a way to warn others to watch out for these kinds of traps.
Yeah, he put, "Be careful, people. I was nearly decapitated by a metal wire tied between trees on the trails I ride. Luckily, the wire broke. It was caught under my helmet chin, though, and wouldn't come off, and my foot was stuck under the shifter."
Especially when riding through trees.
Yeah, you know, a sign, no trespassing, maybe. You know, anything but fucking that. You ever thought about that?
Back in the summer of 2014, a man named Chris was biking in the mountains near Fernie, British Columbia, when he suddenly noticed what appeared to be an animal approaching him in the tall grass. Immediately, he realized it was a mountain lion, and that's when he started recording.
I don't know if you can see it, but there's a mountain lion. He's crouching in the grass.
Yeah, and this is especially dangerous because the worst fucking thing you would ever want to do with a mountain lion is run. Dude, that bitch would catch you in 2 seconds and have a paw like claws completely jammed into your back to where you're just paralyzed. 2 seconds is all it would take. They're fast as fuck.
He's actually coming towards me.
At first, it's kind of hard to see where exactly the animal is, but as Chris walks towards the trail, you can see it emerging from the grass coming closer.
It's Nick, yeah. No, she would run away.
That is a mountain lion. And he's stalking me.
Even though mountain lion sightings are rare, they have been known to attack people in certain situations. And let's just say, if you see one stalking you in the tall grass, slowly approaching as it stares you down, you can be pretty certain that you're in danger. About 2 minutes into the footage, the lion starts walking a little faster, and Chris does the one thing you never do with a mountain lion by turning his back and starting to run.
Yep. I mean, to be fair though, what else was he supposed to do? Just stand there and get attacked? Like, what was he supposed to do?
Hey, Mr. Mountain Lion. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, I think mountain lions are also susceptible to getting scared if you make yourself look really big and make an intimidating noise. I think that would actually work with them.
I am much bigger than you.
Over the next couple of minutes, Chris tries to get the animal to go away, but it only walks around him and continues to stalk him, staring him down in the tall grass near the entrance to the woods. A couple of minutes later, the uploader manages to take a few steps toward the main trail back to his car, but he doesn't get too far before the mountain lion cuts him off.
Bro, it will not let him out of his sight. He said, "You're in my domain,
Stay
bitch."
back. Stay there.
He tries to shoot it twice, but misses both times. Does he have a gun? It's
I'm not afraid of you.
It's not growling or anything that I can tell.
After a few moments of tension, the mountain lion turns around and disappears into the trees. Being in a position like that has to be downright terrifying, especially when you consider that the only reason the lion didn't attack was because it didn't want to.
Yeah, like it wasn't, it would be a lot worse if it was hissing and growling. It wasn't hissing or growling the entire time. I think it was just more freaked out. It's like, what the hell is this thing? Walking on two legs in my area, you know? That's more of its behavior. If it was hissing at him or growling, being actively aggressive, then he would have been probably fucked. But it just seemed more freaked out, like, why are you here? You need to leave.
And had it felt more
And then once he kind of left its area, it's like, all right, cool, I'm out of here then.
threatened, it easily could have done some serious damage. Thankfully, it was just a close call, and Chris was able to walk away from the terrifying encounter unharmed. In March 2019, a 5-year-old girl from Fairlawn, New Jersey was playing with her friends near a creek in a wooded area behind their home right off Route 208. This was an area the family knew very well, as they'd been living there for 13 years, and the girl's father, Dave Kuroda, and his wife felt completely safe letting their kid play in the woods behind their house.
Chuck a can of tuna into the distance, and then you're done. You'll never have to deal with that cat again, dude. It'll be occupied for the next hour.
At some point during that particular afternoon, the girl came across a pile of clothing in the woods, after which she immediately ran back to tell her dad what she had found. Strangely, the clothes appeared to have been cut off a person's body, and there were suspicious red stains all over the tattered, shredded outfit. After confirming the bundle consisted only of women's clothing, Dave called the Bergen County Sheriff's Office and reported the incident, feeling like it was just too out of the ordinary for a random pile of cut-up clothes to appear near the entrance of the woods.
Nah, where the clothes looked intentionally cut up by a pair of scissors or something, I think it's a little bit darker than that.
So close to his home. Even though this was the first time their daughter saw the clothes, it appeared they had been in the woods for several months, which explains some of the excessive wear and tear, but not the suspicious cuts and stains all over the outfit. Immediately, Fairlawn police started asking the public if they could identify the clothes, hoping that it was just a prank rather than something more sinister. Unfortunately, nobody came forward, and until the clothes can be linked to some sort of crime or to a victim, they can't be accepted for testing by the police department. To this day, the cops from the Fairlawn Police Department haven't been able to match the clothing to anyone in particular. And at this point, all we can do is hope that whoever those clothes belonged to did not come to the harrowing fate that the dark reddish stains imply.
Oh god, the forest encounters again. The amount of ground that cougar made and the moment he turned around is exactly why you do not turn from a predator. Yeah, he took 2 steps away and that thing was right on him. Like it was a good 50 feet away. It was a good 50 feet away and then he turned around and it was 15 feet away in like 1 second. That's why you don't turn around, because when you turn around, they take that as a sign that you're now their prey and they're gonna fucking tackle you and just finish you off, you know? It did literally teleport, dude. But yeah, I mean, not to, somebody said, let's be honest, when he brought up that suicide forest, a couple of us thought it was going to involve a certain internet idiot. No. That video is so worthless and so stupid that Logan Paul made, it's not even worth talking about ever again. Logan, I think, ended up deleting it, and it deserves to be, like, wiped from the internet, but I also think it's important that it does remain up, at least with re-uploads, so it's just the perfect guideline of what not to do as a fucking YouTuber. Like, that's just the #1 thing that you don't do. They find a body, and then he just goes, is that a body? And then Logan goes, yep. It makes that fucking face, like, wearing his fucking Minion hat or whatever. No, I think it's the hat of, like, those aliens from Toy Story. God. What a fucking idiot, man. And the sad part is, Logan will probably never outlive this. Like, that's probably going to be the #1 thing he's remembered for his entire life. Yeah, and the video is still re-uploaded. One of the #1 comments. The problem isn't that he's laughing. But it is the fact that he decided to spend many, many hours to edit, get music, phase, building up the tension, giving it an intro and an outro, all of that stuff, and he still made the decision to upload it. Absolute idiot. And he had 15 million subscribers at the time. I think he did get banned from Japan, actually. While there's no official ban, Logan Paul faced significant consequences and backlash in Japan due to a video he posted in the Aokigahara forest. The video triggered widespread criticism. He has also faced criticism for other misbehavior, including incidents at the Tsukiji fish market and in public. Okay, so he's not officially banned, but I highly doubt he would ever go back. Yeah, he... While he's not officially banned, he has actively made the decision to never return there. I think that's for the best. I don't think things would end well for him if he went there. He might end up getting arrested. TBH. This video literally won't load. It's giving me a disclaimer about a content warning. Yeah, on Firefox I had to put, I understand and wish to proceed.
I think there's someone hanging right there. Excuse me? This is the thing.
I can't show this, but I'll play the audio. Yeah, sorry, I can't actually show it, but listen to this dumbass.
There's a thing that is now in our lives we just experienced. How our lives unfold. There's no going back. I've seen things I can't unsee.
We found a dead body.
Yo! What the fuck?
We've talked about this ad nauseum, but just the way that he fucking says that. Dude. Yay, we found a dead body equals views, says the caption. Whenever a content creator goes to an Asian country, it's always a disaster. They continue to make all Americans look like idiots. Yeah. He goes inside of like a retro game store, buys a Game Boy Color, walks out of the store, immediately slams the Game Boy Color on the ground, and then he takes it back in to the shop owner and says, "Mucho broken-o," when he hands him the Game Boy Color that he just fucking smashed on the ground. He says, "Mucho broken-o." What the fuck is wrong with him, dude? I mean, seriously, what in the shit? This dude is just... I don't even know what to say, man. I really don't. I mean, I really don't. And it's hilarious, too, because he starts out the video being like, Japan is all about the respect. Hey, what's up, Shadow? Yeah, that era on YouTube was regarded as the Vine invasion. That's what they called it, where Vine shut down. It was like 2014 or 2015. We've already watched like 3 videos, Shadow. I can't remember if it was 2014 or 2015 whenever Vine officially shut down, and basically all the biggest creators on Vine just all opened YouTube channels and started posting on YouTube. And the collective cringe that resulted from that was just out of this world, dude. I mean, it really was absurd. It really was absurd. Yeah, no, we got straight to it today, man. We could watch the second one about forest encounters. There are 2 videos about disturbing forest encounters. We only watched one. Let's watch the other one now. Most disturbing forest encounters caught on camera. We watched this one. There's another one from 9 months ago. Let's watch this one. From Chilling Scares. You ready? You ready, Shadow?
Daniel O'Neil is a YouTube...
I clicked when I should have pressed the button. Ready? There we go.
from the UK with a channel called English Woodsman, where he's been uploading videos of his wild camping, stealth camping, and woodland camping trips in the UK for almost 10 years. Most of the channel's videos feature Daniel reviewing camping gear for his viewers and showing footage of his adventures in the great outdoors. For the most part, they're pretty tame, but in August 2023, he uploaded a video of his camping trip in the woodlands close to his home, and the footage is pretty disturbing. The first part of the
video... Oh
my
god, dude. Where does he live again? The UK?
Close to his home.
Because look how beautiful that is behind him, man. I swear. That shit looks like right out of a fucking Lord of the Rings movie. There's nothing better than walking in nature like that. Seriously, I love walking in the sun.
And the footage is pretty disturbing. The first part of the video pretty much just shows Daniel walking through the woods and talking to his subscribers,
New Zealand better.
eating berries, and...
I mean, that's where they shot Lord of the Rings. So, yeah.
Pointing out the sights on the way to the campsite. At several points along the way, he pauses to mention the footprints and garbage he sees lying on the trail, indicating other people had been there in the last few days.
Someone's been here. There's a lot of rubbish around here.
Rubbish? A lot of rubbish around here.
Yeah, look at the state of this. It does get used, doesn't it?
After about a 20-minute walk, he sits down in a clearing where he plans to set up camp for the night and leans back on a tree to eat his noodles as he talks to the camera. It's not until around 25 minutes into the video that things start to get seriously disturbing for Daniel.
I'm going to be out Friday night, but I'm going away Saturday, so I've got a bit of a drive as well, so I didn't want to be tired, and it's going to throw it down Friday night as well, and rain camping is really good.
It sounds like in my headphones, it's like behind me to the right. So I guess for him, it would be in front of him to the right. Yeah, that's the disturbing part. He realizes his hairline's declining. That's not the disturbing part, by the way. That was just a terrible joke.
Is that a badger? Hello?
It sounds really close.
Even though some pretty human-like footsteps could be heard right behind Daniel, as soon as he turns around to scan his environment, there's nobody in sight. What's most disturbing is that as soon as he turned around and yelled hello, the footsteps immediately stopped. For the next few minutes, he sits down and tries to regain his composure as he sips his coffee and eats his noodles, but things only continue to get even more creepy as the sun begins to set.
Ultra instinct kicked in. Is he gonna throw the boiling hot water at him, dude?
There's that noise again now. Hello? Hello?
Yep. Cardinal mistake. Folgers instead of Maxwell House. Unforgivable, TBH.
You got a bit of that. There's nobody here.
About 40 minutes into the video, the footstep noises can be heard again, and this time it sounds like they're getting closer to Daniel. By this point, most people would have hightailed it out of there without any hesitation, but Daniel decides to sit back down to finish his dinner as he tries to calm his nerves for the second time. Amazingly, a few minutes later, it almost seems like he completely forgets about the footsteps and manages to think about less disturbing things, which is honestly pretty impressive.
Couldn't be
But
me.
as darkness sets in, the eerie footsteps start up again.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't stay here now. I'm gonna be.
Yeah, he's just talking so loud too. Yeah, that part I can respect. Spicy ramen at that, delicious, but
Be a wimp. I don't care if people call me a wimp in the comments, but
bro, you have bigger balls than me. You're fucking sitting. You waited it out, and you're in the middle of the woods, and it's pitch black outside. I would never do this.
I can't stay here.
Ain't nobody gonna call you a
I'm
wimp.
too unsettled. I'm nervous. I've done camping like this a load of times. I think I'm gonna go find somewhere else to get this bivvy set up. But I'm leaving this spot.
Understandably, after this third incident, Daniel decides to head somewhere else for the night to play it safe. It's hard to know what exactly was making those sounds, but because they sounded very similar to human footsteps, it's possible that Daniel was being stalked by someone in the woods. This is obviously incredibly dangerous, as you can never really trust someone's intentions when you're in such a vulnerable position, all by yourself in unknown territory. It was either that or an animal walking through the grass, but because Daniel mentioned the grass was a little wet and wouldn't have made that dry sound if an animal stepped on it, this is pretty unlikely. Also, many people in the comments mentioned that no animal walks that uniform and steady.
I would think the small noises after dark could be an animal foraging, but I heard that first one in the daylight and that sounded human. If clearly no one was there, I probably would have changed my mind on staying right then. Oh yeah, dude, you already know the YouTube comments are, oh, it was a chupacabra, actually. It was a Wendigo. Yeah, bud. I'm sure it was. Yeah, dude. It was Bio Diddy. Oh my god. By the way, Dr. Red, have you seen that fucking video where the guy goes to a GameStop with a game cover that says Five Nights at Diddy's?
They stop,
Just reminded
go,
me of
and
that.
change pace constantly. Either way, it's a good thing he decided to leave, because who knows what could have happened to Daniel that night. One of the most annoying things to me is spam texts and phone
Hey, my boy with the SM7B. Same Michael phone. Let's go. Chilling scares. I didn't know you rocked like that.
calls. You would actually be surprised. Well, I is and is an email and to protect and like my info always do, and if also entirely
Okay.
range is part of a
I respect that you got an ad, but I ain't watching that. And this video's 9 months old, so you wouldn't get any money from me watching it anyway. But shout outs to my man getting a sponsor spot. I respect it. More like 5 nights in federal prison. Dude, that's getting too, don't make it too realistic now, then the game won't be any fun. I'm just kidding.
a front range of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, made up of almost entirely public land within the Pike National Forest. In the summer, you'll find lots of bikers enjoying the Rampant Range's elaborate trail system and exploring the great outdoors. For the most part, this part of Colorado is a paradise for anyone who enjoys spending time in nature. But over the past few years, there's been a pretty alarming trend on the rise, with
Dude, that part is actually kind of scary. That looked like a really steep drop off. Look at that. Imagine if you trip and fell down that. You're probably not getting up.
But over the past few years, there's been a pretty alarming trend on the rise, with random people setting up wires on trees at just about head height in an effort to seriously injure bikers on the trail. In 2019, a post describing this terrifying trend was uploaded to Facebook.
What the fuck is wrong with people? Tripwire set on Rampart Range trails. Caught this from TT Facebook page, so be careful out there. I mean, these are public trail systems. I was also exploring 11 miles on my dual sport and someone places barbed wire all over the trails. Didn't see it, but my friend did. Lucky me, I guess I didn't hit it.
And disturbingly, the uploader mentioned that one of his high school friends had lost his life as a result of running into a similar wire on a trail. Immediately, people jumped into the comments to point out how incredibly messed up it would be to do something like this, and how this kind of evil needs to be categorized as attempted murder if the suspects are ever caught. A couple of years before that post was made, in 2017, 2 motorbike riders uploaded a video to YouTube of their encounter with a similar wire, and although nothing happened to them, it was a very close call.
At this point, they need to make neck shields for bikers or helmets that go all the way down. Yeah, some of them do. So like the one guy we saw that was on his ATV, it hit a chin guard that he had. So in a lot of cases, that's what they'll do. But yeah, they definitely need something to go on their neck with, like you said, like body armor material, like Kevlar. Because, dude, that shit is crazy. Yeah, they stopped just in time. And that wire doesn't look very dangerous, but if you're driving at that speed directly into it, trust me, it'll decapitate you. It doesn't have to be the thinnest wire in the world. We saw a different one with a guy on an ATV earlier, Shadow. It might have been that one you were thinking of.
When these wires are set up off trail, it can be hard to tell whether they were placed there out of malice,
it's
or
super
if a
sharp.
random camper or farmer placed the wires there to hang up clothes or something similar. But in cases like these where the wires are specifically placed on the trail, there's really only one reason people would do that, and that's to bring serious harm to bikers for some reason. Possibly they're annoyed with the constant loud sound of the bikes near their property.
Dude, get the fuck over it. It's a free country. It's a public trail. If you don't want the noises, don't live next to a fucking public bike trail.
Or something else. But hopefully more measures can be taken in the future to prevent more people from getting hurt, especially because it's not uncommon to hear about motorbikers and snow.
Yeah, dude, it's like, oh God, I encounter people like this all the time. Not at work or anything, but I encounter people like this just in real life. It's like, they're mildly inconvenienced. So not only are they going to make life miserable for everybody, they're actually going to try to either harm you or make your life miserable too. What a horrible mentality. I'm annoyed by this thing, so I'm going to try to physically harm you because it makes me mad. Well, sorry. We both live in a free country, so you can go fuck yourself. If I want to ride my bike, if I was a big BMX guy, I'd ride my shit. And you're not going to stop me just because you're mad about it. What are you going to do? Call the police? We're on a public trail. They're not on private property.
Dealers losing their lives over this kind of stuff. This audio was uploaded to YouTube by a user named ForestFire number 21. He recorded it around 2 a.m. in December 2014. The uploader lives in a forest, and he mentioned that the noises in the audio were coming from deep in the woods behind his house.
Oh, I didn't know if Chilling Scares was saying, what are you going to do? Call the police when you literally caused... Yeah, exactly. Call the police and tell them that there's loud bike noises, and then the bikers can say, hey, this dude set up a steel cable to try to decapitate me. Who's going to jail of the two? Hey, fucking psychotic person that put up the steel wire. I think it's you. I think you're going to jail.
It's hard to make out what the child is yelling, but after listening closely, several users jumped in the comments to point out that you can also hear an adult voice yelling, "Where are you?" In addition to the young female voice making most of the noise, this quieter, more subtle male voice that can also be heard in the audio only makes the whole incident that much more disturbing. Near the end of the video, the uploader mentions that after that night, he checked the news every day to see if he could find some explanation for the screams, but he never did. The fact that the screaming was captured at around 2 a.m. in the freezing cold weather...
When was this uploaded, though? Because I will say there was a long trend on YouTube of people faking things like this. So it's called an ARG, and I believe it's called it's like augmented reality game, where this is what people try to do on Reddit all the time, where they stage something like this. Well, just because they say it's at this time of night doesn't mean that it is. Like, do we have any definitive proof that it actually took place at this time other than the uploader saying that it did? Not really. But yeah, like, I'm just very skeptical of this stuff because I know there was a big trend from like 2009 to maybe 2013 on YouTube where everybody was trying to be the next, like, Marble Hornets or Creepypasta or Ben Drowned, you know. If you hear a kid screaming, it's your job as an adult to try and help, even if it's scary. Better than living knowing that you could have left a kid to die. But yeah, most likely a fake video. Or it could have been something even simpler than that. Maybe it was like a father and a daughter where they were just going in the woods. The daughter got separated from him just enough that she couldn't see where he was, and then she freaked out and started asking where he was. And then he was asking, where are you? It doesn't necessarily mean that anything evil was going on. But yeah, certainly the audio is disturbing.
and in the middle of the woods indicates that the uploader could have genuinely recorded something pretty sinister taking place that night. It's hard to tell why the uploader would record and upload the audio instead of immediately calling the police after hearing a female voice in such obvious distress.
That's the suspicious
but
part.
At this point, there's not much that can be done about it. And who knows, maybe the uploader did call the police. There wasn't much context given in the video's description. We can only hope that whatever...
I live in Virginia suburbs near Washington, D.C. Hey, what's up, Sick? How you doing, man? I recorded this around 2 a.m. December 2014. So yeah, like this audio, he's been sitting on this audio for 4 years. He uploaded it July 2018. The screaming went on for a while, but stopped pretty soon after I recorded this part of it. I checked the news for a few days to see if there's anything like assault, robbery, escape, crazy person that would have warranted. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. I think this one's fake. I don't know, dude. Going good? Same, man. I've been in the gym like crazy. Arms are getting built. We're fucking getting there, dude. Arms are... every head of the tricep is fucking massive now. The only thing I have to do is lose fat off the top, and then I'll actually look toned for the first time in like 10 plus years. Oh, I've been living in the gym lately, dude. Protein intake never been higher. We're fucking chilling. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, everybody was saying my face looks a little bit skinnier the last stream. And I don't really see it, but when I look at certain angles, I do. Like I can see here. When I look at older streams, it's like I'm doing this. You know, I have like jowls. Almost cut myself on that jawline when I joined the stream. Hell yeah, I do. I'm cutting glass on that shit.
Happened that night was eventually solved, but based on the shrillness of the screams and the strangeness of the whole situation, we probably won't ever be able to know for sure.
Right. Okay, never mind, because he said this wasn't the original footage. The original footage was just a black screen, because I was going to ask, like, what was he doing in the woods? But then I remembered this is just footage that Chilling Scares put here. It's not the actual original footage.
Lisa is a life coach and YouTuber who often uploads videos of what it's like living in her van and traveling the country on her own. One afternoon in 2022, Lisa had parked her van on the side of the road and left the side door of her van open while she cooked her dinner inside, when suddenly a sketchy-looking guy approached her, poked his head in her van without her permission,
Oh,
and
no. See, this is where some people may be offended by my opinion, but I would never do something like this unless I was strapped. I'm sorry. Listen, I had a roommate once who was very freaked out by guns. He didn't want me to even own a gun. And I was like, man, here's the thing. I understand where you're coming from, but what the hell else are we supposed to do? Somebody breaks into our apartment. What are we supposed to do? Wait 15 minutes for the police to possibly show up? Like, what are we supposed to do? And in that time, they've already robbed you, done whatever the fuck else they want to do, potentially killed you, and you're sat there waiting for police to show up because you didn't have something to defend yourself with. Do you know what I mean? I just don't, I can't understand that mentality. Like, what are you supposed to do? So, if I were to go camping like this, I'm sorry. You know, I live, there's a lot of concealed carry states in the United States. I live in one of them. I love Glocks. They're just very expensive. I like Glock 17s, but they're very expensive. But yeah, that's my only point is like, if you're going to be out in public doing things like this and you might potentially be in a dangerous situation, it might be best to conceal carry. Just saying, maybe the glove box, something that's locked. But yeah.
Asking her some pretty bizarre question, poked his head in her van without her permission, and started asking her some pretty bizarre questions in French, a language Lisa doesn't speak. When she mentioned she didn't understand what he was saying, he pulled out a translator app to try to communicate with her, which obviously made her pretty uncomfortable, especially since she wasn't interested in talking to him in the first place after he invaded her personal space.
Glock 43X.
After watching the guy struggle to use Google Translate for a few minutes, Lisa decided she'd had enough and shut the side door in his face, also closing the curtain to make sure the guy got the hint. Strangely, for over half an hour, the guy then stood outside in the rain and tinkered with the translator app to try to communicate with Lisa, even after she made it more than obvious that she wanted nothing to do with him.
Oh, no. They definitely do, Dr. Red. They definitely do. Have you guys ever noticed, like, toy guns, typically they always have an orange tip? Do you know why? Because it's actually illegal to sell a toy gun with a black tip or one that looks like it could be real for obvious reasons. So that's like the indicator that the whole toy industry has to do is orange tips. So all toy guns have that orange tip. Yeah, airsoft guns don't need them, but anything that's designated as like a toy does. Like, what is this guy fucking doing? Was he, if he had like an emergency situation, that's one thing, but like...
He just moved even closer so that I can't move out and so that I can't go forward.
Bro, get a job.
Please leave, you sketchy person. Please leave.
Like, get gainfully employed, dude.
With a very shady demeanor, the man snuck into the bushes and pretty much just stalked Lisa from a distance, as if he thought she couldn't see him.
What are you doing?
As the sun began to set, Lisa kept an eye on the guy outside to make sure he didn't try to get close to her again, but the man just kept on bringing his car closer to her van and blocking her exit in different ways for more than half an hour.
This guy is really starting to freak me out. It's been like a half an hour and it just keeps on moving his vehicle.
You blocked the entrance, yeah.
Van here. Anyways, it's 7 o'clock, 7 p.m.
Fortunately, just as darkness had begun to set in, a family in an RV pulled up right behind Lisa and spent the night in the same parking lot as her, which comforted her enough to stay there the entire evening. Disturbingly, the guy left soon after the other family arrived, but came back about 3 hours later in the dead of night to check if Lisa was still there.
Yeah, get a damn PS4 or something, dude. God.
When he saw the other family in the RV was also still in the parking lot, he left and didn't come back. The next morning, Lisa left early and never saw the guy again. It's hard to tell what the guy's exact intentions were, but based on his overall sketchy demeanor and questionable behavior, they couldn't have been anything good. The one thing we can be sure about is that it's a good thing the other family in the RV arrived at the parking lot when they did. Otherwise, who knows what the man would have done to Lisa.
Fucking dancing a jig in the...
An Imager user uploaded a blog post.
It's like dancing a jig in the bushes. Like, get a job, dude.
An Imager user uploaded a blog post where he talked about the time he went to visit a friend in northern Germany. According to the uploader, his friend told him about these pipes that he had found in the woods near his house that stuck up out of the ground like periscopes. Apparently, his friend and his siblings played near the pipes as kids and knew that there were bunkers hidden below them, but their parents never allowed them to get near them out of concern for their safety. During the visit narrated in the blog post, the uploader and his friend decided to check out the pipes and finally...
Wait, did he say it was in Germany? Yes, northern Germany. Uh-oh. I have a feeling I know what those are.
Narrated in the blog post, the uploader and his friend decided to check out the pipes and finally go down into the bunkers that they never had permission to explore when they were younger.
I think I know what those are.
Disturbing stuff. A few hundred feet away from the trees, they found the entrance to the bunker covered with a loosely placed piece of wood that they easily removed with a crowbar. Once inside, all they could see were these long, seemingly endless, hospital-like hallways that extended for thousands of feet under the woods. As they ventured further and further into the maze of tunnels, they found graffiti on some of the walls, indicating they weren't the first people to get the idea to explore the underground bunkers. To the explorers' horror, one of the walls deep inside the tunnels had the word "help" in German graffitied all over it. It's possible that it was just sprayed on there by another group of teens trying to be funny.
Dr.
But
Gracie's
the eerie
house,
nature of
liminal
the bunker,
space.
coupled with the general state of disarray, really makes you wonder if something more sinister took place down there at some point, possibly even written by German soldiers in the later parts of World War II. As they traveled deeper into the bunker, they found some more disturbing graffiti, with one of the eeriest messages reading, "Hello Satan, I love you." Obviously, that's not the kind of message you want to see in a tunnel system like this, but the two friends decided to keep on exploring anyway. After several hours down in the bunker, they ended up finding tons of more twisting, winding hallways, flooded rooms with old machines, and dark, narrow corridors that reached dead ends, but nothing more disturbing than the graffiti they had found a few hours earlier.
Ooh, if that's water, that's also incredibly, incredibly dangerous. If you have a cut or something, or you get that anything from that water in your bloodstream, you can actually get brain-eating amoebas. No shit. Like, you can actually end up basically dead from that. Still water is incredibly, incredibly dangerous. Like, there was a TikToker who was diving into still water, like abandoned houses, and he almost died. He can barely communicate verbally now. It's insane.
Explorers managed to make it out of there safely and didn't go back there again. In the summer of 2016, reports started surfacing that people were finding dangerous booby traps along a very well-known hiking trail in the High Mountain Park Preserve in Wayne, New Jersey. As per the police reports, the traps mostly consisted of boards with nails sticking out of them, barbed wire, broken bottles placed along the trails behind or near rocks or logs, and other treacherous materials.
As well.
As more and more complaints started coming in, police warned people to keep an eye out for the traps and even organized cleanup efforts to keep hikers safe during their treks. What's most disturbing is that these traps were clearly placed there to hurt people, as there's really no other reason to put nails and barbed wire on the ground in the middle of such a popular hiking trail. The fact that someone would take the time to get out on the trail, build a booby trap in such detail, and place it there with the intention to do harm to other people and their pets is honestly pretty messed up, but it didn't take the cops too long to make an educated guess as to who was behind the whole thing. Although they never found the individual suspects responsible for placing the traps on the trail, the sheriff's department determined that the traps had probably something to do with the feud between hikers and bikers who had been fighting over use of the trail for decades. According to many nearby residents, it's common for bikers on the trail to speed past the hikers without ringing their bells or announcing their presence, which has led to several...
Yeah, dude, we're in the middle of some nightmare fuel. We got 20 seconds left, but it's 6 most disturbing forest encounters caught on camera.
Injuries and rising tensions between the two groups.
The one and only crazy killer 09.
Still, it's hard to imagine that someone would take the issue to the point of trying to harm an entire group of people so maliciously with such brutal methods. Fortunately, no one was hurt as a result of the traps, but the suspects responsible were never found.
Yeah, so, you know, that video was crazy. It's just insane to me that so many people just casually put up these traps. Same shit happened with Disney World back in the 1970s, I think. Oh, you mean with the booby traps? Dude, have you seen... One other thing that we watched in a video a while back was, it was like, not Adventure Island, but basically right next to the main Disney World that's in Orlando, Florida, there was this island that got abandoned in like the late 80s, early 90s. Yes, Discovery Island. And people eventually made their way there to explore it. I think you were actually here when we watched that video. There's something so disturbing about seeing something that's just like frozen in time and everything looks like the late 80s, early 90s. You know what I mean? There's just something fucking weird about it. It's like going into an abandoned shopping mall where all the logos are still old. It seriously is like something just trapped in time. And there's something very off-putting about it. I can't really even put my finger on what it is, but something about it just doesn't feel right, you know? Oh. I tell you, man, I'm dead serious. You cannot even begin to understand my power. Oh, I've heard stories. Trust me, I've heard stories. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been so burnt out on video games. I haven't even felt like touching a single one on stream here lately. I'm enjoying the break from them, though. That's for sure. That way, when we do eventually come back, it's nice. No, 100%, dude. Dr. Red shares stories all the time. Like, Dr. Red told me the story about you and him had an agreement where, like, you would read a certain amount of One Piece and he would, or maybe it was My Hero Academia, but basically he was supposed to watch an anime and you were supposed to read one, I think. And Dr. Red did his part and then you ghosted him for a while. If I remember right. Yeah, My Hero Academia, yes. So Dr. Red did his part of the deal, and then you didn't do your part of the deal. Highly questionable. I watched Beastars and he was supposed to watch MHA, then ghosted me. Caught red-handed. Live in person. Live on twitch.television. You just got caught. Beastars suck too. Wow, Dr. Red with the shots fired. Dr. Red said, I don't give a fuck. I tell the truth. I tell the truth, motherfucker. People went there a couple years back, even when it was banned. A man swam there and police were circling the island and held his girlfriend hostage till he was sent to prison. Discovery Island closed in 1999, primarily due to the opening of Disney's Animal Kingdom, making the island redundant. Other contributing factors included poor attendance, high maintenance costs, and allegations of mistreatment of animals. Well, that I could definitely believe, because animals are certainly not in the optimal environment being in a fucking amusement park, of all things. So certainly, I could believe that part of it. Big shocker, it's not ideal to have animals in a fucking, you know what I mean? Oh, man. Zoos too, just let animals live where they're supposed to be. Yeah, and you know, it's like the zoo, people always make the argument, well, they might live a longer life in the zoo because they'd probably get killed in the wild. It's like, yeah, sure, but you really think they enjoy fucking sitting in a glass enclosure while people just gawk at them all day? Like, oh my god, getting out the camera, taking pictures and tapping on the fucking glass. I don't know, I'd argue their quality of life would probably be better in the wild. Hunting as well, yeah. Like hunting, there's poachers to consider. Depending on where they're from, there's poachers to consider. Hunting, you know, them getting killed naturally in the wild from, you know, the food chain, as it were. So yeah, there's a lot of things to consider. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that, I don't know. There's a lot with Disney that we could get into, but it would be a whole ass rabbit hole. I mean, the likes of which is just insane. For example, did you know that there are machines mounted all over Disney World, Disneyland, etc., that spray different scents to basically trick your brain into triggering certain reflexes? Like when you get into the area where they sell food, they're constantly spraying. It's not real, but they're like spraying the scent of desserts, and they're spraying the scent of fried foods. So it's basically subconsciously tricking your brain into, ooh, I could eat right now. And then lo and behold, the food's right there. You know what I mean? They have those posted everywhere. So everybody always talks about like, wow, it just smells so weird. It smells interesting there. Like there's so many amazing smells going on. Yeah, it's because they're just fucking manipulating you every step you take to basically subconsciously guide you to different places. It's the same shit they do in department stores. Dunkin' Donuts does this on buses. Yeah, department stores do this. Like if you guys remember stores like American Eagle, like if you go into a mall, you'll see like Abercrombie and Fitch or some shit. You'll see Hollister. You'll see Aeropostale, American Eagle, stores like this. What they do is they have a store-specific bottle of the most popular cologne and perfume that they smell, or that they sell, not that they smell. Not to say this in any way, but they stopped that because of manipulation, but they do it in Animal Kingdom, Pandora, or Avatar area since it wants to fit the tone. Oh, they stopped doing that. That's interesting. I wonder if people complained, because it was kind of a really weird thing for me to figure out. But basically, if you run a store in a mall for these big department stores like American Eagle or whatever, this is US I'm talking, they will ship a very concentrated version of like American Eagle cologne or perfume to the store, And all throughout the day, they'll spray it all over the store so that when you walk past the store, you get hit with it. And you're like, oh, I want to go in there because it smells so great. You know? Another one that's a little bit less known is fast food containers. You know, those little cardboard containers that like your fries and your nuggets and stuff come in? Red is a color that stimulates appetite. That's why all the Wendy's, like most of the Wendy's cartons that they put like nuggets and stuff in are red and white. That's why McDonald's is primarily red and gold. That color stimulates your appetite, and that's why a lot of fast food companies go with it. Subway has a really specific smell too. Dude, Subway food is weird. It's hard to explain. Like, I buy a sandwich that has certain meats on it and it tastes very little like any other meat that I buy. So I'm like, is this shit even real? Color red is getting banned on Fruity Pebbles. Yeah, because it's made with Red 40. You guys know what Red 40 is? You're gonna think I'm lying. My brand is not lying. When you come to a Stampede stream, I don't fucking lie. Red 40 is crushed up insects. It is literally the leftover material after you crush a bunch of insects. You're left with a red color, and that's what they use as Red 40. Look it up, I'm telling the truth. Red 40 bug refers to an insect called cochineal or cochineal, which is a source of the natural red dye carmine, sometimes used in food and other products. So yeah, it's a scale insect, specifically the female, which is found on cacti and is used to produce the red dye carmine. Carmine is derived from the hemolymph, the blood of the insect, and is used in various applications, including food coloring. Yes, but to create that synthetic compound, a part of it has to be used to get from this insect. They have to get the carmine from the insect, and then the carmine is used to make the synthetic food coloring. So a portion of that Red 40 did come from a crushed up insect. Dude, Subway was sued because the bread wasn't considered bread, it was cake because of the sugar. That makes perfect sense. And also, there was a, let's see. There was a horse meat lawsuit. Where horse meat somehow entered the supply chain of beef. And I don't remember if it was Taco Bell or what. It was, yeah, Taco Bell. British restaurants and others were found to have horse DNA in their ground beef. So you know what? The beef that comes from Taco Bell, if you guys actually look it up, you know how most beef, when you go to the grocery store, it has like a ratio, right? Lean to fat, where it'll say like 85-15 or 90-10 or 93-7. The first number meaning how much lean meat and the second number meaning how much fat. Well, Taco Bell, officially, Taco Bell claims that their beef is 73% real and the rest of it is made from synthetic whatever. Like, we don't know what the fuck. Google says that Red 40 is not made from bugs. Well, that's certainly interesting. That's news to me. Taco Bell sucks. Very true. Carmine is a natural red dye derived from cochineal insects. It says it's used in food coloring, dude. It's a red dye that is used in food coloring, so. It's a sodium salt. It is a dye prepared from the dried bodies of female insects. In cooking, it is used in its red coloring power. Used for its red coloring power in preparations such as sauces, ice cream, milkshake, bakery products, and others without any added flavor. So this here is what they use it for. Sodium salt, a dye prepared from the dried bodies of the female insect. In cooking, it is used for its red coloring power in preparations such as sauces, ice creams, milkshakes, bakery products, and others without adding any added flavor. So we're technically both right. The actual delineation red 40, if you were to turn around a box and see the words red 40, is not made from insects, but most of the sauces, ice creams, milkshakes, bakery products, etc. do have crushed up insects inside of them. So is it really any better? No. It's not any better. So there's a high likelihood that if you're eating red colored bakery products, like cupcakes, cake, or whatever, there's crushed up insect in there. It's also used in Skittles, and it's used in Skittles, Ruby Red Ocean Spray Juice. It's used in strawberry yogurt, and a lot of other things. So how fun is that, dude? Pretty much, yes. You're not wrong when you say that. The candies called Good and Plenty also use it in their pink candies. So yeah, how fucked up, dude. And I didn't know this my entire fucking life. I had no idea that crushed up red insects were in my fucking bakery products. Red Velvet Cake has it. A lot of things, dude. A lot of shit. And the fucking bug that it's made from is disgusting looking too. Look at this fucking bug that they make this shit from. Like, I know bugs serve an important purpose in the world, in the ecosystem and everything, but I'm sorry, that is fucking disgusting. Yeah, so the name Red 40 bug is a misnomer. Basically, it's a misnamed, a mistitle. It's not actually the literal Red 40 bug, but it is used to create a lot of food coloring for things that people do eat a lot. So... but yeah. So, you know, if you can imagine, if we're getting the color red that way, how are we getting the rest of the colors? Probably not anything you want within a fucking square mile of your body, hey? I mean, that's just a guess. So, it is what it is. It's fucking horrific to think, like, my whole childhood I was eating, like, Fruit Loops and shit. Why are we banning Red 40? Like, I know it's kind of obvious, but like, why would they have ended that years, possibly fucking decades ago? Because they don't care. The only thing the food industry in America cares about is getting their costs lower and their profits higher. They don't care if it poisons everybody, gives everybody fucking diabetes and, you know, all these horrific health issues. As long as the number on their earnings report goes up, they're happy. As long as that number's going up, 2 thumbs up. That's why they don't give a shit about health. The TikTok ban that happened not so long ago. Yeah, and then they just immediately reinstated it like within a day. Yeah, so candy, yogurt, and beverages are the most commonly used for the insect parts. Ketchup can contain, according to NC State University, ketchup of any variety can contain 30 fruit fly eggs per 100 grams being sold, while peanut butter can have up to 50 insect fragments per 100 grams, because you have to remember, bugs are flying in these factories as they're packaging this shit. They are, dude. Apples are the same deal. If you eat an apple from any supermarket, it's probably going to have insects and worms inside of it. Like, that's just a reality that we've accepted. We shouldn't accept it, but it's a reality that we've accepted. Yeah, Jell-O, sugar-free drinks also use this carmine. Yeah. So people usually say, like, if you have a vibrant primary red color, like a super vibrant vermilion red, usually that means it's something unnatural. Food should never have, unless you just are fucking growing it yourself, food should never have like a perfectly vibrant yellow, blue, red color to it, ever. That's just not the way real food is. That's why all the artificial candies and bullshit are all these fun, vibrant colors. But in reality, you know, a red apple is not that super, super vibrant, shiny red color, you know? So in general, if you see like these products in boxes and packages and shit that have these crazy vibrant colors, you can rest assured there's a bunch of bullshit chemicals and potentially crushed up insects in there. So how fun is that? Allowable contaminants, they're a thing. Yep. What's up, Future? Yeah, we were talking about carmine, which is made from crushed up insects. They literally call it the red 40 bug, but it's not actually used to make red 40. That's a misnomer. It is in like baking powders and cakes, like red velvet cakes. It's in basically any artificial bakery product you get that is super vibrant and red is made from those crushed up bugs. Like, basically, if we don't make USA people happy, we would take over the damn government to the fucking president. Like, not so long ago, maybe 16 years ago, Ohio banned marijuana, but the community got made real fast, and they took off the law. But I want to say 2 years ago, they put the law right back up and don't give two shits. I'm at work. I wasn't even here. Hey, I saw nothing. I heard nothing. I got you. I am completely at a loss as to how you ended up in this chat. In fact, you're a ghost in this chat right now. You're just wandering through. You're an apparition wandering through the chat, and none of us saw you. We got you covered. I remember Kendo almost got in trouble because he said like they sent out a company-wide email asking people to stop streaming online videos while they're at work, and I was like, what? Exactly, Shadow. You know, you see, Shadow, you understand my struggle as a streamer to read all these messages and digest everything that's being said. It's tough, dude. It's hard. It's hard out here for a streamer. You understand how hard it is to read multiple messages? I have to look several times before I can read everything. It is incredibly difficult. You feel my pain? I do feel your pain. That sounded kind of sus, and I don't know how to feel about that. You know what I also love? I love how Crazy Killer, I called him out for not watching MHA, immediately leaves. Because he couldn't handle the heat. That's what it is. He couldn't handle the heat. We put his feet to the flame. He couldn't handle it, and he ran away like a scared little Twitch viewer. And he couldn't face the truth, which is that he didn't have the balls to watch MHA. And all I did was speak facts right there. I am fluent in 2 languages. Facts and logic. Those are the 2 languages I'm fluent in. And when I speak them, trust me when I say I've had a lot of practice. I know what the fuck I'm saying. So when I sit here and I tell you that Crazy got called the fuck out live in 1440p, 60 frames per frickin' second, you know I'm telling the truth. I think I pulled that from Dark Knight. So when I say that you and your girlfriend was nothing personal, you know I'm telling the truth. Sorry. I'll never quote the best modern Joker ever again. I had like 7 people in my streams 2 weeks ago. Let's just say I couldn't damn speak without all of them talking about 6 different topics. Like, I know The Hunger Games is good, but oh yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean is a good movie. Like, let me damn speak. Dude, I don't know how these streamers with just 300-mile-per-hour chats even do it, because and then of course you get the people who get mad when their message doesn't get read. Well, fuck you if you're not gonna read. This motherfucker isn't even paying attention to chat. I'm out. I'm gone. Oh. Holy shit, dude. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. You know, it's like they're just like fighting for your attention. And it's like, dude, I can only read so many fucking messages. You know, some things are gonna get lost. I'm sorry. Like, the fuck? They said this guy is a fraud. Yeah, Queso. Oh my god. Queso averages like 40, 50,000 people. How the hell is he supposed to? Dude, his chat is like 90% all caps and emote spam. There's literally no way that he could pay attention to it all. And then of course you have people posting like massive walls of text. Actually, streamer, I believe that in this instance you were incorrect for the following reasons, and I will now outline each and every individual one, and I would like to tell you the truth about what you just said. It's like, oh my god, just stop, dude. Just end it. Just stop the chatting now. Stop typing. Guys, who said in the chat, yeah. And I think the worst part about those type of people is like they will unsub and they will go to Twitter and shit to talk shit about you and say that you're a bad streamer because you didn't respond to their one message, and they like try to call you out publicly. This is why I recommend to not be on Twitter at all, or at least never respond to anything. Hey, no problem, Dr. Red. And you know what? That's the perfect time for me to say it as well, as much as I hate to say it. Your boy Stampede G, we got some pretty bad storms rolling through, and I can hear that shit right now. So I would really like for my PC not to shut down. And I would like for you guys to, if you would like, join my Discord. We got 94 people in there. I'm trying really hard to get to 100 because that's just a personal goal of mine. I've tried to get 100 people in the Discord for a long time. And we're also going to be bringing back some watch parties. So I will shut all my stuff down. We're going to go caveman mode. I'm going to ride out this storm, and hopefully my power doesn't go out and shit. And yeah, I will talk to you. Oh, no. We got to break the chains. We're going to break the chains on room 302 in 3, 2, 1.